All right, it is Tuesday night in Tooney Town, and that can only mean one thing. It is time for the fastest rising pro wrestling live stream podcast on the internet today. It is time for Tooney Talk Wrestling. Folks, I am Marvin, and I am the Movie Monster, and I welcome you all. See some of you in the chat that I just saw a little while ago when we debuted the 19th episode of the Headlock Headlines in a live premiere that we just did over at 7 o'clock about an hour ago. Loved having you guys there. Loved enjoying the episode with you guys for the first time ever. That was a new experience for me, so I really kind of dug that, and we're going to have to do that a lot going forward. But welcome to everybody here in the chat. Big, huge shout out to one of the most important people on this show. Man in the chat for us is producer AEW Neckbeards, the heart and soul of this show, the wise man of this show, the man who we could not do this without, and he's going to be keeping you guys company in the chat and jaw-jacking with all of you guys there as well. Be sure to drop your super chats if you would like us to read your comments and questions aloud on the show. And any support you guys can give the show is always appreciated. It helps keep the show going. It helps get content coming more often. And, it's just kind of a really nice thing for all of us involved. So thank you very much to everybody in the chat, but a special thanks to our good friend, AEW Neckbeards. We love you, buddy. All right. So moving on, we got to introduce our panel. We got another all-star panel here today. I mean, a panel that you all pretty much know who they are because they're here every week. But first off, my regular co-host, my best friend in this world, my brother from another mother, the Turk to my JD, ladies and gentlemen. It's Kevin Apollo.
Wise man, I acknowledge you in the chat.
Yes, we're all acknowledging the wise man. Kevin Apollo now has his own entrance video because I've always said he is the human. If Piccolo made a wish on the Dragon Balls to turn into a human, he would turn into Kevin Apollo. So he had to make the save for us all and bust all the henchmen. Is Kevin Apollo. So what's going on this week? You having a decent week? No more bear attacks?
Well, actually, the bear returned this morning.
Oh, that son of a. Okay.
We had a little face off. He was a little too close to the bus pickup, so I.
So he's threatening the Kevin Apollo kids,
not the younglings. So yeah. I ruined his breakfast buffet. He got a little snippy with me this morning.
You got to have the kids do like where the Apollo kids gonna be where all the action is. That was Tom and Jerry kids. I meant to do Flintstone kids. And I did Tom and Jerry kids. Yeah, I did Tom and Jerry kids though. I don't know why that show left such an impact on me. The Tom and Jerry kids, that's such an impact. But someone who leaves an impact on all of us each and every week. It is our friend from the world of Maxed Out Media, AEW Disciplinary Committee, aka DIS.
Yo, hey! I was trying to think of a cool catchphrase. Apollo has a intro now, so I feel like I need something.
Well, maybe one day you'll all have intro videos, but you need about 20 years of friendship under your belt before you can actually.
Oh, here, how about hey, blood? How's that work? Is that I've been watching a lot of New Jack videos. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fantastic. Thank you, Dis. You're very colorful this week. You're wearing a title belt like you're an AEW fan. Walking around showing off your championship. The WWE fans do that too. I can't just give it to AEW fans. Though I have always said that those who walk around with championship belts should be obligated to defend them.
I've always, I see the people at shows walking around with belts, and I'm like, oh, dorks, nerds who walks around with belts.
Yeah.
And then somebody's like, hey, you want to hold my belt? And I'm like, yeah, I want to hold my belt. So I can't really say anything.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they paid a lot of money. You pay a lot of money for those belts, and I guess it's like you want to show them off. You don't just want them to be like in your house on the wall or something like that because they're expensive. Right? I mean, I've never bought one, but I understand they're expensive.
And to be fair, they only take them to wrestling shows or conventions. It's not like you see people in public walking around with championship belts. That would be
right.
That would be the line, I think.
Yep. All right. And also, folks, joining us, you know him from Twitter with 10,000 followers and counting, the one and only Awful Wrestling.
What's happening, everybody?
Awful. I saw somebody in the chat said you were their spirit animal earlier today, and I thought I was like, oh is he my spirit? I was like, is he my spirit animal? I'm like, no, he's more my Patronus. My Patronus is an angry yet clever black man. I yell expecto patronum, and he comes out there to dress down everybody cleverly. All right, so there's like a scratchy. There's a scratchy noise coming through. I called you clever. That's not a roast.
Okay, sorry. What's going on? Hey, everybody.
Awful. What's new and exciting over in your corner of the world?
I'm just sitting here coping, crying, and contemplating my life choices. That's all.
Why?
Well, apparently there's some sort of thing on the table, like a deal or whatever. But
oh yeah, I mean, look, I mean, I understand your reluctance to accept the fact that there is a deal present, because the second that a deal is announced, you are going to get it from all corners of Twitter. They are just gonna, because every single time that you shoot off your mouth about the fact that they're not getting a deal, the AEW fans react like this.
I'll get you for this. You won't escape my wrath.
Sorry, I just love that. I love that clip so much. But yeah, no, you're gonna get it from all sides once that deal gets announced. So
I hear that, but we'll talk about that later.
We've got some super chats to get to, though. We have got Colin Taylor checking in with $20. Thank you so much, my friend. Says WWE Films needs to do remakes. L.A. Knight stars in a retelling of Louis Malle's 1981 classic coming this fall. My Dinner with Andrade. I love that so much. Dakota Kai stars as James Bond 007 in The Weave with the Golden Friends. I like that. I like that one a lot. And it would give you our first female James Bond, Kevin, which you know that they've been wanting for so long.
I can't comment on that at this time, Senator. Save that for Thursday.
Save that for Thursday night. You can freak out.
Avoid the risk of demonetization.
And then he says, Colin Taylor also says AEW's ratings star in Skyfall.
Oh,
Let the ratings fall as they crumble. But we'll stand tall and say you don't understand cable. It's the process, guys. But Colin Taylor, thank you. Starting off with $30 in super chats. Colin, you are the man. We love you here. And so we love you so much, buddy, that we are going to deliver a special message from a very special someone who is very, very appreciative.
你好，中国，这是叫西娜。我爱更尊重中国，更中国人。我很抱歉对我的错误，对不起，我很抱歉。你必须了解，我很爱，很尊重。中国跟中国人，不好意思，再见。
It's a mistake that he made. He's owning it, at least. Poor John.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other movies that we could insert WWE guys in. I'm not coming up with anything on the top of my head.
Yeah, really put us on the spot here.
I know, right? I should. It's funny. John sent this at 7:41. I had 30 minutes to think of something, and I didn't.
Right.
I purposely don't read. I purposely don't really read them much, beforehand or give much thought, because I want to give off the cuff responses.
Right.
Miss October 30 checking in says, if you put up a random CZW match footage, AEW fans will say AEW is nothing like that and mean it too. Yeah, that is true. They'll try to say that it's not the same thing, but when hypodermic needles and cinder blocks and blood and guts and this, that, and the other thing, I mean, it's kind of the same thing, Kevin Apollo. Right?
Stupidity is a young man's game, I guess.
Yeah.
Hopefully Swerve and Soy Cowboy get it out of their systems early, because
was CZW always a super? Did they always, every match all the time?
They were the ones that were ECW was for pansies.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there was blood because people severed a freaking arteries in their hands because there were so many light bulbs. It's just it's always
it kind of went in the pecking order, it kind of went like ECW and then IWA Mid-South and then XPW. And then all the way at the top was CZW. Well, I guess FMW is probably the.
I was about to say that's for America. For FMW was the biggie for a long, long time. FMW predate? That predates ECW, right?
I think it does.
Well,
yeah. I think the extreme version of ECW.
Right.
Yeah. Right. That's what Cactus and Terry Funk were, blowing up in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we got like Leatherface and those guys.
Yeah. John JAD 999. Awful. Your microphone is like giving so much feedback right now.
Okay.
It's like a scratchy. It sounds like you're like in a wind tunnel. You good?
He's gone.
John JID 999 for 199 says AEW tried to restore the feeling. It's dead now. Well, yeah. Restore the feeling. First of all, a 5-year-old company should not have a restore the feeling campaign. I've been saying that for years. Not for years. I've been saying that since this started. It's far too early to be running on nostalgia fumes. So, the feeling should be the same right now as it was when the company started. John JID 999 for 199 also says, when does ABBA get called up? A few more years? Soon? What do you guys think? Oba?
Another year.
Obafema?
Yeah.
I would assume. If you know another Oba.
Yeah, I think he's going to be on the same trajectory.
Oh, is this a sound cutting out? Yeah. He's like, his avatar just froze. Go ahead, Kev.
No, I'm good. Hello?
Oh, now you're back. Now you're back. There you are.
Yeah. Oh, go
ahead. Continue.
Yeah, I think that Oba's going to have the same trajectory as Braun Breaker. I think Braun Breaker's whole thing where they gave him a year as a face, they gave him a little time as a heel, and then brought him up, kind of seeing what he can do. I think that's going to be about what we see with Obafema too.
I concur.
It's too early to bring him in right now. Yeah.
Yeah, the formula works.
If Vince was there, he'd be up, but
you think so?
Oh yeah, Vince loved to pull that trigger. Actually, no. We would have waited. He would have gotten a Rumble spot, and then he'd be up the day after Mania.
All right. Samurai Sam for $2 says, is the media deal a W or an L? No Max is a big L. Yeah, if there's no streaming involved, that is a big L. It all depends on if pay-per-view is involved in what they're saying with the 170. If it's not, then it's not really a huge deal. It's not a big increase. If the 170 that and we're going to talk about this in more detail later, but if the 170 that they're talking about is not inclusive of pay-per-view, then it's a big increase. Not huge, it's not the $1 billion deal that Dave was running around screaming that they were going to get. It's nowhere near it. I don't think, is it even half? Like it's probably at least half, but
it's $800 million short.
Yeah.
if you're going on the $200 million deal.
I think it's $170 million a year for 3 years with the option for a fourth.
Yeah, it's 4 with an option of 5. And if they actually pulled the option, they would go over the $1 billion.
I read 3 for 1.
4. Yeah.
Oh, really? I saw 4 for 5.
No,
okay.
We're gonna look at it. We're gonna look at it a little later. Alejandro Melendez checking in with Dom and Liv Morgan update of the week. Rejoice for good won over evil. Our dear heroes beat the vile Queen Rhea, Zoisite, and Malachite with aid from Sir Braun in his soul separator attack. I love how much Alejandro apparently loves Sailor Moon. But yeah, that's fine. We love Sailor Moon too. It was a good show. I was so like I was really embarrassed that I liked Sailor Moon when I was a teenager because I was like a boy, and I would like go to like rent one of the tapes at Blockbuster, and I would like hide it so that nobody would see what I had. It was a whole situation of my anxieties as a kid. All right. Well, my pathetic childhood notwithstanding, BTW Matt for $5 says Brian Drummond will always be the voice of Vegeta for me. The Ocean dub has the best voices in my opinion. I love the Ocean dub voices in Dragon Ball Z. I mean, Kevin, could you imagine if like the Ocean dub voice cast got like the later like the Kai scripts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we go back and forth on Frieza, but
no, we do. I was just literally just about to say the only voice that I felt like improved was Frieza when they made what was his the guys that the last two guys that have played him, which they play him basically exactly the same. The first one passed away. Chris Ayers, I think it was. He passed away. John Williams for $4.99. Triple H was caught hanging out with his daughter, showing her something on his phone. Which victims of his burying was it? It's like, this right here, her name is Katie Vick.
he's not showing her that. That's on Grandpa's bathroom wall.
Yeah. I've seen it, Dad. I've been to Grandpa's house. Not anymore.
Come here, little one. Tell about how I told your dad to screw her brains out. I kept the brains. There's this jar. Grandpa, that's just old spaghetti. I know.
Yeah, but blindfold yourself and put your hand in there. It feels like brains. That's haunted house.
It's like Fear Factor, but real.
This has gone dark. What's happening here?
Andre Adams checking in. Buddy Andre Adams for $10 says Jack Perry literally has a blacked out short bus as part of his gimmick. I don't even try no more. They do it to themselves.
I don't understand.
I don't get it either. I don't get it either.
He's had that goofy thing for a minute too.
Yeah.
Apparently, him and his girlfriend sleep in it. No joke.
Nobody understands. Nobody understands what they're doing with that gimmick or anything with that whole storyline. Because at the end of the day, I mean, look, we said it in the headlines this week. They've been doing evil stable takes over the company storyline with the Elite for how long now? And now they are responding to. They are now starting a Jon Moxley and the Blackpool Combat Club trying to take over AEW as an evil stable. And it's we all know what happened. Jon Moxley walked in and was like, I want to do a take over the stable, and I'm gonna be I'm gonna quote a German dictator that I can't say on YouTube.
I saw this movie. It's like 26 years old, and it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I just got the boots. Can I quote it? And like he actually quotes the lines from that guy with the Charlie Chaplin mustache.
And then he's gonna he works out his creative control card, and now all of a sudden Tony has two evil stables trying to take over the company.
Right.
It's just Jon Moxley as this legitimate badass when every weekend he goes to the local community center and gets choked out by tax accountants. I can't deal with it.
Easy, bro. Like, stuff just happens, man.
You get caught.
Yeah, man. Just, you get caught slipping, and the next thing you know, you're tapping to your pizza delivery guy.
Your face turns purple.
It's so weird that they're not even hiding it though, because like Claudio tweeted something out, and the hashtag was White Knights. Like they're leaning into it. You know,
we'll talk more about that in a little bit, but yeah, we cover it pretty extensively on the headlines this week in ways that
Jesus, at least keep Wheeler in the group for a little cover.
Yeah, no, they had to get that. I was about to say they had to get him right out of here.
Arthur Jennings for $20. Thank you very much. It says, notice on X that John Orand at Puck provided AEW TV details, but Observer hasn't been specific. Could this mean cage match Orand v. Meltzer, the fight for truth or lies? This could be very true. The AEW TV deal stuff. I mean, look, we try to take everything with a grain of salt. However, Dis, you said you looked into Puck and you found a lot that they were pretty legitimate, right?
They're an industry news, television industry news source. So they aren't wrestling, but they report on television deals. They've done a lot of reporting on WBD and David Zasloff in particular, and they've broken a lot of stuff. So it would be funny if a television industry news company came in and scooped all of the wrestling quote unquote journalists out there that have been saying, there's something going on for months now, but they are more credible than a lot of the stuff that we've been getting.
I personally have a theory behind that. If we want to talk about it later.
Now, you know what? Why don't we just talk about it now?
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting.
So I think, because I listen again, this deal is not very impressive right?
No.
We got to be honest. This is not very impressive. It's a far cry from the $1 billion deal that'll change the world. Really, this is just like we're going to adjust some things for inflation and current production costs. It was the BAM. Is it too soon to cuss? Even though you can say this on
no, we're 20 minutes in. You're good.
All right. Yeah, this is a bare ass minimum offer. I have a feeling they've had this deal on the table for a very long time. Tony's been begging, and they're like, this is a poop or good off the pot moment. And WBD leaked it to let the interested parties know, like, hey, there is a deal on the table. They're just not signing it, and now it's out there, and Tony's going to have to sign it now.
All right, so let's take a look at what they were reporting. Hold on one second. We'll get to the rest of the super chats in a little bit. So I'm going to share my screen here, and so this says Zaz on the ropes. Let's see. This is welcome. Next edition of the Varsity Podcast. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, never mind. This is behind a paywall.
Let me see.
Hold on one second, guys. I'm just gonna get the Cliff Notes version.
There's something. The weird thing about, and we'll see it in a minute. The weird thing to me was the True TV part of it, where they said that they'd be running on True TV twice a week, but they'd also be running on TBS and TNT. So there's
maybe a replay.
Maybe a replay or like a clip show or something, or there might be something lost in translation too. Because I don't think, obviously, whoever reported on it doesn't really understand the wrestling business. They're just kind of TV people.
Well, yeah, that's probably the case.
Yeah, which is exactly why I think a TV person leaked this.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. All right. I think I found Meltzer Said What reporting on it, and I like Meltzer Said What, so we're gonna go with what they said. All righty, let's share this again. And voila. All right. So he says all this pre-tweeting of self-congratulations after the AEW TV deal Puck report is hilarious. When back in May, they were all running around with conspiracies about Puck because Nick Khan had been on a podcast. You're not slick. You didn't predict anything I didn't say 3 years ago. All right. So this is, I believe Meltzer said, several updates are available regarding a new AEW media rights deal. Warner Brothers. John Arand of Puck News published a report yesterday stating that a formal announcement of the long-awaited deal could come as soon as next week, barring any last-minute changes. Our own Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez discussed Arand's report on today's episode of Wrestling Observer Radio, with Meltzer noting a key part of the deal will be whether AEW's pay-per-views are included in what WBD receives for the $170 million paid annually. If it's $170 million, not including the pay-per-views, that's one number. If that includes the pay-per-views, it's not as big of a increase. It's not really, technically doubling of the rights fees they'd received previously, but it would be a substantial increase. So there you go.
What was the original number that these guys got? I'm getting a I
don't know what the original deal was, but I know it was like a bare bones, like WBD started.
Okay.
Deal.
So based on I always get trolled a lot as well as far as information. But somebody sent me a tweet that said from F4W Online, and it said that the 4-year deal, this is back in the day, from 2020 and beyond. The 4-year deal is worth $175 million, just under $45 million per year, and includes TNT having an option for 2024 at the significantly increased price. So they have, if that's true, and this apparent bit of news is true, they lost $5 million.
Well, okay, you have to realize that their original deal was only for Dynamite. Okay. They added Collision and Rampage and especially when I think Rampage was not, they weren't paying for it, but when they added Collision, they went up on the deal and added more money too. I believe what they were on last, and people are saying it in the chat, and that's what I heard too, was about $70 million a year. It would be, it was about 45 before Collision was added, and then it got bumped up to 70 when Collision was added, and added an extra year to the deal. So that's why we're here in 2024 and they still don't have anything new.
Right.
Okay, so moving on here, it says the Puck report from longtime Hollywood insider Matt Belloni stated that his sources indicated Khan was disappointed with WBD's first offer and that the exclusive negotiating window between both sides was coming up in July. He also, this is what was reported a while back. He also reported that both WBD head David Zaslav and TNT Sports head Luis Silberwasser want to keep all 3 AEW shows. After the reporting came out, it was pointed out by some online that Belloni is longtime friends with WWE CEO Nick Khan, and that he had Khan on his podcast before, leading some to believe it was a planted piece. WWE met with WBD during the TV rights negotiations, which Tony Khan said was part of sports when asked about it. And then
that's a reach.
Is what said. Assuming nothing completely unforeseen, both WWE and AEW are going to get very good deals in the next renewal of 52 weeks per year. TV show that always gets consistently ranks high in the ratings and demos and keeps the stations at near the top charts will always be rewarded. I agree with that. But yeah, it is interesting that Meltzer is now quoting using Puck as a source when he and his website goons tried to claim that he wasn't reliable because they had Nick Khan on a podcast once. Meltzer said what responded said it's complicated. A few months ago, Gigi was gleefully describing Puck on WOR, and Dave said he might sign up too because it sounded good. But then after that report came out and the Nick Khan appearing on a podcast scandal broke, then all of a sudden it was a dirt sheet. So,
do they not understand how long Nick Khan has been around and what Nick Khan has done and how many networks,
I know,
how many athletes, how many celebrities this man has represented?
Yeah, he didn't come off the street.
He didn't just pop up. He didn't like Vince didn't find a bottle and rub it, and Nick Khan came out of it.
I wish for $1 billion.
Yeah. All right. You know, Mr. McMahon, I can offer you $3 billion network deals. All right. And a paralegal? No paralegals. It's like what are you talking about? This guy has friends. He's gonna be on podcasts. These freakazoids. Why are they like this?
I don't know. You know, something that people don't think about with Nick Khan too is that Nick Khan was a fixer, right? He was always brought in to prepare companies to be sold.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first company that he's prepared to get sold and stuck with. So if you want to get an idea of where WWE is right now and their business is right now, Nick Khan could easily move on to some other company and get a ton of money for it. And he's sticking with WWE. So
yep,
it says a lot.
100%. So looking at what was being reported, the key figures of the deal, according to the report by Iran, was hold on, I didn't give you the tab. This is on F4W online. So as much as it skeeves me to say it, they have it listed. New AEW WBD media rights agreement will be 4 years, 3 years guaranteed plus an option.
What? Okay,
170 million is in the ballpark of what AEW will receive annually. AEW program will air on TNT, TBS, and True TV twice a week. This is part of a WBD strategy to make TBS and True TV more sports-oriented, especially with the lack of the NBA now. There was no mention of AEW pay-per-views airing on Max in the report. AEW is also pitching a package to broadcast channels. This deal marks a clear success for AEW, which launched 5 years ago with a threshold WBD deal, he wrote. So, of course, Meltzer is dancing around to the Yub Nub song. But I got to say, guys, with no streaming, this is not a great. I mean, look, I know Awful is looking for any excuse to say this is a terrible deal. It's fine in terms of it's going to be more money for them for what they've already got. But you got to really think they were really hoping for streaming here.
I disagree.
You can't get AEW streaming anywhere.
I disagree.
What?
Because if they were to take 170 million and include pay-per-views, that would be a terrible deal for AEW.
Oh, 100%. I'm saying the fact that it's 170 million shows they're not taking the pay-per-views, I think.
Right. Yeah, no, but if they're because they do make money off pay-per-views. Say what you want about AEW, but they make decent money off those pay-per-views, and they charge $50 a pop for them, and they still get good buys.
I'm keenly aware of what they cost after the last
It's probably been their main source of income for the past 3 years now, so
it's what's keeping them just under the water.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm not saying they're healthy. I'm just saying that's where they get their money.
Yeah, I love it. AEW is just one hit roller derby show away from cancellation if they get put on to TNT, what True TV, which they're probably going to turn over. I mean, yeah, this is a terrible deal, and despite whether you like it or not, it's not a great one.
I don't think it's
It's
terrible.
not
I think
terrible.
I think for a second deal for a company that pulls
It's
their
a
numbers,
lateral play, gentlemen.
It's more money,
Yeah,
man.
so
It's lateral.
I will say it's essentially a lateral move. We just adjust for inflation. I know Tony was hoping for a bare minimum, probably 200 million, because he wanted the he wanted raw money, and with probably with all the provisos that WWE had worked in, but you're not delivering. And right now, they're just need to be happy that they're staying above that, that threshold of 500K. Because they're dancing, every other week, they're in the mid sixes to a little bit lower, and find there's the occasional hiccup where we'll shoot back up in the 700s. But this time last year, they were saying, "Oh, it's okay, we'll be back in the 800s before you know it." We're trending down, and steadily. So, it's a lot. This is nothing to write home to mom about.
Well,
there is no
jump
song.
We can't really tell if it's good or bad because we don't know what their costs are
Right.
on a weekly basis.
Yeah. I think that AEW is one Nick Khan away from being a profitable, well-run company. So they need someone to come in and slice costs. They need someone to come in and say, we're not running these huge buildings anymore.
Do you really think anyone is able to come in there and tell Tony Khan, we're not going to run big buildings anymore? We're not going to, we're not going to let you sign all these people for millions of dollars a year. I mean, do you think their talent budget, their talent spending per year is $100 million?
I've heard 110. And by the way, that's the point that I was getting to, is that Tony Khan will never have anybody come in and do that. Tony Khan, unless he is in dire straits, unless Shad
unless Shad makes him do it. Yeah.
But even then he'll probably get himself a yes man. We've seen this many times in entertainment where, like Howard Stern, for instance, he couldn't really handle the operations of the company as it was growing bigger. So who did he bring in? He brought in some woman who literally took away the heart and soul of the company and put them in with corporate sponsors, corporate people. That's what Tony, I think, is going to is going to end up doing. He's going to bring somebody in. He's a yes man. He's going to be the one who's going to be the new talent relations. Like at a certain point, Tony's going to be irreproachable, because I think it's not going to go. This deal has stressed him out. It's not, it's not something that he wanted. It's not something that he asked for. And with only 3 months left, he's going to have to bite some sort of bullet. And if there is a deal in place, he's going to have to make some drastic changes.
They have an additional 3 years to get it figured out, right? It's kind of a do or die deal, right? So like the Freakazoid celebrating and dancing in the street like they're Mick Jagger. It's sit down and cool out for the death worshippers that are looking for the company to fold up tomorrow. Guys, relax. It was never going to fold up tomorrow. We don't want that. We don't want that. If this company winds up being an abysmal failure, and right now it's just a failure, but if it winds up being an abysmal failure, there is no more wrestling for anybody other than the WWE, because no one else is ever going to get a chance.
Unless Kev, companies have come out of nowhere because there's a hardcore groundswell of support from people, then it becomes something bigger. We've seen this with ECW. It can happen again with another company. It not necessarily has to be AEW, but there are a myriad of companies that could easily, maybe not on television, but as far as on the footing level of AEW, that would be able to gain support. They understand their focus. They understand who their audience is. They understand how to grow. I I refuse to believe that in our lifetime there will not be another chance at this, because we didn't see AEW come in like this 10 years ago, 5 years ago.
I would say, look at it like this: WCW went out of business, and no one was interested in bringing it back, and that was when Bischoff was going to take it. TNA had to essentially sell its soul to get on Spike, and Spike was a fledgling network with nothing going on. The after that, ROH was on Destination America. People didn't even know that they had Destination America.
Right.
The after that, it's AEW got on TV because of the Khan's football ties. The and
they had somebody on the inside who was helping them out.
That's the only reason that this happened. No one's really looking to experiment unless you have a proven record, and WWE can flex muscle because it's been a cable TV institution since cable started. And again, the W can eat maybe 1 or 2 bad years because they've had almost 45 great ones. When you're a 5-year-old company, again, these guys should be in the middle of robust growth, and they are what's called retrenchment, whether they want to admit it or not. AEW does not draw. People aren't going to these shows. People aren't watching the product. They don't get any movement on social media. So the metrics that matter, they are failing. They don't move merchandise. They don't have merchandise. The toys don't sell. This company is as cold as Natalie Wood was when she got pulled out of the water.
Why is this always your go-to? Why is it your go-to metaphor constantly?
Well, I was going to say Lacey Peterson, but I felt a little bad going that route.
But Natalie Wood's fair game.
Well, it's been long enough. Robert Wagner and Christopher Walken got away with it. It's okay.
Enough time has passed.
I think that when we talk about like a new wrestling company coming up or something like, first off, Tony Khan already admitted that he kind of would love to get absorbed into WWE on that media call last week.
Yeah, how bizarre was that?
It was very strange. It was very strange.
You just won on you publicly told everybody that you were hoping to fail and get absorbed by your competition. That is your blood. That's your blood-born rival.
So what you compared to Harvey Weinstein?
Yeah, but I think that is an interesting thought, because I could definitely see, if AEW goes away, I could definitely see TKO perhaps creating their own competitors, right? Doing where they either buy other wrestling companies, perhaps like buy TNA or and run them independently of WWE, where they can then do things like the World Series of Wrestling or something like that. And TKO would, and there's so many more outlets now. I'm so surprised that there aren't wrestling companies popping up on every streaming service out there.
That is a brilliant idea. That's a brilliant idea.
I would say UFC has struggled to pull this off, and it's hurt MMA because Dana gobbled everybody else up, and PFL kind of popped up out of nowhere, but that came at the expense of why can't I think of it, Bellator. So that's it's great to wax philosophic about it, but it's not that. Not that he's spoken also
going to happen though. Wasn't WWE getting the rights to a whole bunch of different indie feds that they were going to put on the network before they went to Peacock?
They dropped that. Yeah.
That
was UK. I think they dropped that, right?
Yeah, that was a Vince initiative, and it had a lot to do with kind of when they were launched in NXT UK. They wanted the UK talent to be open to working in NXT UK. So they took a lot of companies thinking that they could use their talent, and instead they ended up just buying their talent when that didn't work out. So, I think, there's a lot, like I said, I think streaming is another avenue. I'm surprised that every streaming service doesn't have a wrestling company. I'm surprised that Tony Khan didn't want to move to streaming, because I think that's the future of it's the now.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care about that.
He wanted to go on Max.
He doesn't.
Max isn't.
He doesn't. I don't think he doesn't want to be solely on streaming, because WCW wasn't on streaming.
Right. No, I didn't mean Max. I meant like going somewhere and doing a live show on streaming every.
No, he wants to be on TNT, TBS and pay-per-view, because that's what WCW did.
Which is ridiculous because look at the show he's trying to create. He can't do it there.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to have a harder edge show, which you could do on Prime, but he can't do it on TNT.
And listen, though, would you really be able to do it though? Because again, like, fine, you can go and you cater to that super niche, but it's not working for them. And I find it interesting. It's as people are kind of commenting what happened a couple weeks ago, the thread is kind of still the same. Yeah, there's an audience for this, but one, as that audience gets older, their tastes change, and eventually they're gonna be kind of repelled by it. Two, if I'm a parent watching this, I'm never gonna let my kids watch it, and if my kids are never gonna watch it, you don't have a future fan base. So
that's true. I think I think people still kind of see wrestling as a thing that kids watch,
Yep.
and I think that especially with the WWE catering to a younger audience, you bring in AEW and you're like, yeah, we slam people on cinder blocks and inject hypodermic needles into people's mouths. They're not putting that on Max.
But they're putting it on TNT. I mean, I don't think AEW cares about kids at all. I think they pretend.
No, they obviously don't.
Well, again, they counted on Silicon Valley rich nerds and celebrities following them all over the country. They rented these big arenas, knowing that they were never going to fill them, and thought that base was going to follow them, and it hasn't. And they do, find they have a little base, and they have spots where they can, where they can go pull a crowd. But how many times a year can you run to Chicago to pull you out of the fire? It's eventually it's something you're going to have to open up and welcome a larger audience. ECW realized this towards tail end. It was just too late. The style of ECW radically changed and was more akin to what TNA would become versus what ECW started out as. When you look at Kid Cash and the Yorks, the Yorks and Diamond and Swinger, they were doing, Carino, they were doing very high impact, high flying moves. A lot of the hardcore stuff was gone. It was really just different kinds of table spots, especially after the Dudleys got signed. It was who can Rhino pile drive or gore through a table, was pretty much as ugly as it got, unless Masato Tanaka was in town. And after Foley, after Foley and Rock murdered each other at that Rumble, the as terrible as those chair shots are in hindsight, it was still not as it still wasn't as gut wrenching as it was. We recoil today because we're aware of things like CTE, but it's just, if they're not going to figure it out and grow up, that's really what it comes down to. Your angsty teen days are not making you money. It's time to grow the hell up and get into the business of making money.
Yeah.
Well, that's whether he cares about making money. I think he cares about putting on the wrestling that he wants to see, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
making money is a far second. I think he wants to make money, but it's not a high priority to him at all, because he thinks that he probably thinks he has great talents.
I don't think he cares about making money. I think he just cares about being number one. He wants to be the guy that beats the WWE.
Well,
and because as much as he hates Eric Bischoff, he also loves Eric Bischoff and idolizes.
Yeah, he's admired by him.
Yeah,
he admires him.
Yeah, but I mean, though he despises him now. But
all right. I think you're exactly right.
Before we move off the TV deal, real quick, isn't it funny about Shockwave? Remember that last week? Everyone on Earth was talking about it's going to be on Fox. It's going to be on blah blah blah. Dave Meltzer came out and said it's not there's no Fox deal. It was never a thing, which probably means it fell through and he's covering for him. But I'm guessing Shockwave is going to be whatever they're talking about as the new thing, the extra programming.
And I'm telling you guys, I think Dynamite moves to True TV. I really do. Because
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
No, I just think that they really want to push True TV as the sports show right now, and TBS is the one that they definitely don't want sports on. So I imagine the only reason they're even going to still be on TBS at all is because Tony held his breath and kicked and screamed about it because he's got the TBS championship. But True TV is where they're going to want him. because that's where they're moving a lot of their live sports stuff at and TNT. So
you know, they're going to get old school raw treatment whenever the dog show popped up. So and once they figure out what they can replace the NBA with, all the other AEW shows will be preempted and thrown on True TV. I bet you'll get replays and a recap show. And then again, we talked about it last week. The first warning was Dynamite got kicked off of TNT and got sent to the B network. It all kind of depends on if WBD can wrangle up a Hail Mary and get their hands on UFC. I think they'll fight like hell to do it because they legitimately have nothing else. Everything else in the company has been rated worth essentially less than zero, so they don't have much of a choice. But and that's the other reason that AEW is even there. They know that no one wanted them. They knew that they could pretty much give them whatever they wanted to give them. / they don't have a lot to give, so it's either stay or go fade away.
Mm-hmm. So moving along, LC Killer 17 for $2 says, deal or no deal? I don't care for AEW. I don't blame you.
Same.
I like Deal or No Deal. That's a good show with Howie Mandel. That's funny.
Mercedes and Orange Cassidy in Romancing the Monet.
Oh, no.
Colin Taylor, thank you very much. John JID 999 for $199 says nothing makes sense in AEW, and I've just given up. And I think a lot of people are joining in that, John, because their ratings have just been steadily declining over the last several years, and that doesn't happen by accident. Shaggy Phil 73 for $5. Apollo, what are your thoughts on the Strowman and Reed booking?
Big beefy men slapping meat. I love it.
Last night was awesome.
It was awesome. So someone threw a fan at someone. It doesn't get better than that. The only thing that I think that could possibly come close to it was when Rowan used the barricade as a weapon, because that was pretty cool. No one's done that yet. The big guys smashing into each other and breaking everything in their sight is always awesome. It just is what it is. So
no cinder blocks needed, no needles needed. They just beat the crap out of each other, and they used fans and they used everything they could grab. But it was great. It was fantastic.
When I used to run a gym, there was this guy. I'll say his name. His name was Bruno, and he used to talk like this, and he walked like the bulldog from the Looney Tunes cartoons, and he thought he was a certified badass. He was not. But he would walk in the room, and he would say, "It's like, yeah, bro, I was out there, and these kids were talking smack, so I went up and made some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches." I'm like, Bruno, what the hell are you talking about?
What?
Because when I throw fists, I spread their face like peanut butter. And I love watching these big animals go out there and make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It is my favorite thing. It is the only reason I didn't sleep through the entirety of Raw last night.
Well, there you go. Joseph J. Alexander for $2 says Puck is an influencer pyramid scheme. Interesting take on that. CWJ 128 for $5. Notice when Gunther had his full name, everyone went nuts. The new Moxley group, no outrage. I wonder why. Thank you for the good work. You're very welcome. But yeah, no, this is whenever Tony or Moxley or any one of them does something egregious that they've given it to WWE the business over, they they gloriously don't get it. It's hypocrisy.
Listen, I'll give a little leeway here because originally it was the name the first name was the last name. The last name was the name of a Yahtzee general.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a little like, if you know history, you're like, if you know history, like, what was this psychopathic old man thinking?
Yes, we know what he was thinking, but it's the same thing that John Moxley is thinking when he is directly quoting the German dictator of the National Socialist movement.
What? I don't want.
Can I bring something up very quickly?
Go ahead.
What if they're ushering in an edgier style of television and we just don't know it yet? I'm going to play that role for a second. What if this leads to something that like actually does bring in more people because it.
What is happening?
Well, it's
who's this guy?
No. I'm playing it on purpose. I'm just wanting to know what you guys think of it. Like, what if this leads to something that is more relatable in today's climate of disagreements and divide? What if these guys are playing the ultimate heels and they get vanquished by, I don't know, Sting and Darby Allin sometime in the next year?
No,
but you know what I mean? Like,
it's fine to play the ultimate heels, but you don't need to go quoting vicious dictators in order to do it. That's cheap heat.
I would say if you're gonna, there are probably 3,000 to 5,000 movie villains who have a revolutionary motive that can be very easily adapted for storylines like this. I know an indie wrestler who is very talented, who the majority of his career has been brand new blockbuster action movie villain. I am now stealing 50% of his dialogue.
Right.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
but that's just it's just an interesting idea. Like, and of course, the shock in all of it, because what Kevin said is valid, but at the same time, Kev, nobody who was watching television found that out until, nobody who was watching television understood what was happening right in front of their eyes. So it's layered in a sense. People had to go to online, discourse to get that information.
I would say that's a gross failure of the American public school system. That is why they didn't know what was happening. But that is a discussion for another time.
We need to play Rapper Stopper in 5th grade, everybody.
Speaking of which, AEW neckbeards for $2 Canadian says Gunther and WWE angry. Rapper Stopper Moxley and AEW love.
Well, I'd say, but so you're gonna do this, right? What is the end game here? Are you gonna have? Is Moxley gonna tell Swerve to bite the curb? Because that's what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What's the point?
That's coming.
If you're not gonna go stones out, what's the point of doing it then?
Here comes Will Hobbs for the save.
Speaking of which, why is he back on MIA Island?
Oh, he is?
I haven't seen him in forever.
That's true.
MJG for $4.99 says the Wall Street Journal had to do their job re Vince. Puck had to do their job re AEW WBD. Has it ever been more obvious wrestling news media is fake fan cosplay? Absolutely. Oh, this. I mean, you're getting a rousing round of applause for this one.
Yeah.
Is it ever? Oh my gosh. That
hey,
you just fake fan cosplay. Yeah,
we can't get too deep into it, but yeah,
no.
I wholeheartedly agree.
You see when the actual news, when the actual news media shows up, all of a sudden we get the real news.
Yeah, that's a good
step aside, boys.
On Twitter, let's look up ref on Twitter. That MJG there, he's a
very
good
awesome
follow on Twitter. So
yeah. BT23 for $2 says AEW had a tag match at the Jags opener and still lost. LOL. John Williams for $9.99 says casual reminder that sponsors flat out, I think he means flat out hate wrestling and wouldn't sponsor it. SmackDown left Fox because companies didn't want ads for it. So losing the NBA very likely hurt AEW than helped it. I guess that might be true. I mean, you never know. You never know with the sponsorship.
SmackDown left Fox, and all of a sudden their ratings went up with that first college game. Now, of course, it was their first college game, but hey, man, that is so true. Like they got a winner in college football now.
Well, it's college football, man. You can't,
can't beat it.
You can't beat college football. It's not like Fox wasn't totally unhappy. They wanted them to go to FSN. They weren't getting what they needed for network TV. And then again, you got to figure too, WWE does have a decent amount of sponsors, but don't have a ton. And Vince definitely kind of gummed up the works, for them in a lot of spots. The episode was probably just easy to go, do you mind going over here until this kind of goes away? We can retry again. But it is, it's kind of one of those things where it is what it is. I get it. Yes, the NBA leaving TNT hurt AEW because AEW was leveraged a lot for network sync. And when I say network sync, I'm saying, cross promoting with the NBA and making sure that things on the network got promoted on AEW, which is also why I was like, they're not going to get rid of it because AEW is a very cheap 52 weeks a year worth of content for the network, where they can go, you're going to talk about this tonight and you're going to do it for free. They're not going to, they don't have the money to spend on stuff right now,
Right.
I don't know. So
That's the whole thing. If WBD was swimming in money, it'd be one thing, but they're $9 billion in the hole.
Oh, WBD is the last company that needs to be throwing money around right now.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to be extremely frugal. David Zaslav is known for being extremely frugal, and he's also known for telling you a lie right in front of your face and doing the opposite thing. I mean, come on now. This is what these guys are doing in order to keep you guys at bay, keep the people at bay, keep them calm, keep them sedate, while we pull this jack move over here. I mean, that's business, folks.
Before Discovery's become the Kmart, the Kmart of TV. Kmart was very successful until they bought Sears, and then, not even 2 years later, they were gone. Yeah. Discovery was top of the world, and they merged it with Warner Brothers, found out that all their stuff wasn't worth anything, and now they're fighting for dear life. And
I mean, you know what? If they would Discovery could have paid me some money to advise, and I would have told them don't get into business with Warner Brothers. It's the single dumbest company in the world. And not like people are going to say Disney. No, Disney's the most evil company in the world. Warner Brothers is the dumbest company in the world.
Gotcha. Today I learned.
Well, I don't know, because AEW is about to sign a 3-year deal with them.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Who's got that press release?
Warner Brothers is the dumbest, and then Comcast is is right in between the two, between evil and dumb. So, Keith 13301 for $2 says, "Hi, Cal."
Hi, Cal. I was supposed to shout him out from Discord.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, very nice. So shout him out. Go ahead.
Hi, Cal.
That's your shout out. That's how you shout somebody out.
You got to literally shout out Keith. No, that's literally what he told me to say. Verbatim.
Okay.
So
all right.
You've done well.
Colin Taylor for $5 says the Young Bucks and Jack Perry in a league of underwhelming gentlemen.
That's good. That's good.
I would call them, I would say maybe little rascals. CWJ28 for $2. Should AEW host its own pay-per-view WWE network model? No, I don't think so. I don't think they'd make any money, honestly. I mean, they'd get probably a lot less people stealing their pay-per-views because, paying a monthly subscription would be a lot better than but they don't have the back catalog to justify a subscription, I don't think.
I think they're going to. I think they're going to run one. I think they're going to absorb. I think ROH Honor Club is going to become the AEW streaming service, and they will combine.
I don't know why it hasn't yet.
Stuff. Because Tony was very adamant about keeping them separate going into making the deal, but now that nobody is biting on ROH, I think that he sees taking AEW and putting it there as boosting the ROH brand and not the other way around. I think he's starting to realize that ROH isn't viable on its own. Basically.
So you think that he really wanted WBD to take ROH as a television show, and they just weren't biting on it?
100%. Yes.
Yeah. I think have some of these sloppy thirds over here. Come on, check it out. See, she still stands up straight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
CWJ 128 for $5 says AEW is now a watered down version of other promotions: NJPW, ROH, CCW, WCW, WWE, Mid-South, Memphis World Class, etc. What is AEW's identity? That's a fascinating question.
All of those places that he listed, have an identity. That's the difference. That's the difference between all of these guys and AEW. CZW, WCW, WWE, Mid-South, Memphis, World Class. You can go on and on and on. They all had an identity. And me and Dis talked about this in private. it's almost like they followed a pattern on even how to do their logos. From Memphis, it was geographical, world class. Now you're talking about some of the best. CZW, Combat Zone. Their identity is embedded within the name. When you got something like All Elite Wrestling, what does that encompass? What does
It's
that
where the
entail?
best wrestle. It's where the best wrestle, awful.
Right. Well, guess what? That slogan has come and gone. Okay, they don't even use it no more.
AEW's identity was
No, Tony
the
uses
elite.
it on Twitter. Tony uses it on Twitter all the time.
Yay, Twitter!
Well, the identity was from a lame internet skit from a bunch of guys who never drew a dime, and right. That's why AEW is in a starry state that it's in.
AEW's identity was the elite. That's their identity. It wasn't that they were elite wrestling. It was they were literally the elite. And now their identity, honestly, is Tony Khan. That's their identity. You can't watch that show without thinking about or hearing or learning about Tony Khan. He's embedded in every storyline. He does it's all him. So that's their identity.
Just like his idol Vince McMahon, he has now overshadowed his own company. Anywhere you look on that camera angle while you're watching AEW will show you that Tony Khan is present somewhere. The spirit of Tony Khan resonates within the ring, on the commentary, in the crowd to a degree. So these guys, Tony Khan is a new character.
And in all due respect to Vince sat on the sidelines and made sure his brand was the big thing before you even knew that he had anything to do with the company. Right. Unless you knew, the average fan didn't know that Vince McMahon owned it. And then it wasn't until it was a necessity that Vince became a character. It just happened to be that Vince became probably one of the most prolific heels the world had ever seen. And without Eric Bischoff, there was no Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, all by accident.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he was writing for the next 2 years, before the Brett Shawn thing. So
and even as he was swinging his arms,
Tony's inability
about the brand for Vince. It was always about the WWF, WWE.
You know who else did that?
He had to put himself out there.
Yeah. And you know who else did that was Vince Russo. Vince Russo made every show he was on about Vince Russo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And
I was going to say, honestly, Tony has more in common with Vince Russo than he has with Bischoff or Vince.
Yeah. He must hate that because he has nothing but contempt for Vince Russo. So.
I'm not.
Awful, your microphone's doing the thing again.
Okay, sorry. How about now?
I don't know what it is. I don't know where you are you in like a place? I don't know.
God bless him.
Okay.
I hope he's in a place.
Well, yeah. Moving along, John Williams for $9.99 says Tony loves Eric so much he decided to copy even Eric's mistakes. Favorite nation clauses, creative control, overpaying talent, and now making new shows with no increase in budget. That's 100% accurate. And that's the thing. And Eric Bischoff, that's the thing he keeps saying. And I love when Eric Bischoff offers criticism of old coach Tony K. And all the AEW fans like, you tanked 2 companies. And Eric's like, yeah, so listen to what I'm saying. Like, don't do the things that I did. Though to give Eric blame for TNA is not fair to Eric. I don't think.
No.
That
was all Dixie. That was
Oh yeah. No, Bischoff and Hogan just came in there and took money.
Yep.
I think Bischoff tried. But there's only so much you can do when you have somebody who's willing to change everything on a drop of a dime, and that was the problem with Dixie Carter, is that she couldn't, she never wanted, she's actually very much like Tony Khan too. She never wanted to stick to a direction or a plan. She just,
that's why Randy Orton called him Jacksonville Dixie.
Yeah.
And at the very least, I'll give Dixie this. Dixie was a boss when she needed to be a boss. Again, I always point to the Austin Aries situation with Christy Hemme.
What happened there?
Christy Hemme accidentally botched the announcement, botched the ring introduction. She introduced Bobby Roode when she should have been introducing Austin Aries. So Aries backs her. It's happening live on pay-per-view. So you can go back and watch the minute, pull it up. He backs her into a corner, climbs the ropes, and then thrusts his crotch in her face.
I remember that.
When he walked through the curtain, he got a massive fine and was removed immediately from TV.
Wow. Okay. That's good for Dixie on that one. Yeah. Tony would laugh. I like it.
Well, that's it. Tony would have cowered. There would have been 8 or 5 nonsensical press releases that internet fake journals would have released, and then at some point in time, he probably would have sent Aries on some podcast to lie about what happened.
Or, if someone had done it to, say, like Saraya, then Saraya, they would have been like, Tony, are you going to do something? And he would say what he said to Punk. What do you want me to do?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And then Saraya's boyfriend would have gone and punched the guy out.
Just look at the bump Dixie took through the table and compare that to the bump Tony took. Okay.
Yep. Dixie, listen, and Dixie was not an old woman, but she was an older woman who had never taken a bump before. And she took that table bump like a champ and broke her freaking back for it.
Tony Khan has got the posture and mannerisms of a daddy longlegs wearing roller skates. He's just this gangly mess of limbs. Tyler Galansky for $1.99 says, whereas beefy men scare Tony Khan, and so we get Orange Cassidy in AEW. That's very true. Tony does not. Tony has the opposite for all the things that Tony and Vince might have in common, as far as business goes. Vince loves his big beefy monsters, and Tony Khan hates big beefy monsters. He doesn't know how to book them at all, and he only knows how to book guys the size of Orange Cassidy, and he doesn't even do that well. So, yeah. 8-bit deadlift for $5 says, I'd rather watch Braun and Bronson beat the hell out of each other than any Meltzer 5-star match. We're gonna get into Meltzer 5-star matches in a minute. But I agree 100%. It's a hoss fight. Alejandro Melendez for $1.99. Io versus Bianca was match of the night last night. Maybe match of the year. Oh, I didn't see it. Was it that good?
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. It's the best women's TV match I've seen in ages.
Really?
Both companies.
Wow.
100%.
Fantastic. All right. Johnny Marrero for
Nobody paid you to say that.
If the rumor comes true and CM Punk takes over NXT from HBK, how would you see a CM Punk-led NXT? I don't think it would look very different.
No,
I think
there'd be a lot of I think respect for the history of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I think more than Sean even. I think there would be a lot of he'd teach a lot of respect toward to veterans of the past. I think, and I think it would be I think it'd be run right, honestly. I think and if they go ahead,
I think you get a product closer to Black and Gold.
Yes,
where this kind of runs towards the Attitude Era a little bit. Kind of a mix of the Attitude Era and New Generation, but I think you get more of a Black and Gold product in terms of producing talent. I think there's no change, zero change.
I think it'll look like more Black and Goldish. Probably get a little early ROH feel to it, but I don't think you're going to see a significant change, especially because he's down there with HBK on a regular basis anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
It's like autopilot.
I bet you get more veterans involved. I think CM Punk would probably bring more, like how they're apparently doing with Motor City Machine Guns. I bet you'd see a lot more of that. Kind of trainer worker type guys. But besides
the one thing I've always loved about Punk is how much Punk loves wrestling and like how much he loves like the history of wrestling. Like you would see it when remember when Piper and Snuka were in the Royal Rumble and they were like going at each other and Punk was like laughing in the corner and like geeking out and like practically bouncing in the corner. You see stuff like that, and his obsessive fanboyness with Brett, which I don't recommend he watch Headlock Headlines this week. I managed to get my Bret Hart never drew any money rant in there, but I had Tripp do it, so I didn't say it. I was defending Brett. Tripp was the one that said it.
Uh-huh.
So I was being like, hey, Bret Hart's a legendary wrestler with iconic matches, and Tripp's like, iconic matches? What's that? Can I spend it?
Oh,
I think it's enough time. I think enough time has passed where we can finally start to see a like a Macho Man Elizabeth dynamic in the new age.
Yes.
yeah.
I think that would be fantastic. The entire thing from the introduction of them two together span a 10-year cycle, 5-7 years. I mean, I don't know the people's attention span these days, but like, yeah, something long term. I think CM Punk would, be on autopilot, and he would just inculcate more things like that into storylines and things like that. Bringing back old tropes, old storylines that haven't been used in 40 years because of risk taking or whatever the hell,
Yeah, I think people would learn a healthy respect for things. You wouldn't have people wanting to use real glass, for instance. Like we saw the way he ran Collision. Collision looked like a professional wrestling show for a long time. So, or not for a long time.
I was about to say not that long.
A good couple
6 weeks. Yeah.
John JID 999 for $199. Coach Tony K has his small hands all on AEW, and it sucks. MJG for $9.99 says, need to point out how funny it is that anyone would declare AEW will be profitable before the year begins. Can project it, but nobody even doing that. Just stating it based on gross revenue. Business 101. Yeah. I don't even think with the 170 million they can become profitable. They're spending too much. Like you're sinking how much money into these buildings that you're not getting a return on. You're sinking how much money into how many I don't think there's a single wrestler on his roster that he gets a return on investment from.
No.
Somebody gave me a DM a few weeks ago and told me that the reason this was his reasoning. The reason why they're getting these big stadiums is because they're widely known and easily accessible. It's better to have AEW play at the Staples Center, for example, than at the Los Angeles Pavilion or the Viking.
But no, I don't believe in that at all because
you don't believe that?
Stupid.
Okay.
No, it's stupid because you're paying. Look. If it's a 25,000 seat arena, but you're only selling 2,500 tickets, you still have to pay for the full 25,000 seat arena to rent it out for the night.
Yeah,
right.
Look at it like this. TNA would when they were running St. Louis for pay-per-views every once in a while. They ran an arena called the Family Arena. It was right outside St. Louis. It was a smaller arena. It was like they did minor league hockey and stuff there, and they would draw between 12 and 1,500 people for every pay-per-view. People sought out the building because they wanted to see TNA. When TNA moved in when Hogan took over and TNA started running the bigger arena inside of St. Louis, they drew 12 to 1,500 people when they came because those are the people they're going to draw. It doesn't matter if they run the big building or if they run the minor league hockey building, they're going to draw the same people because their fans are going to seek them out. They're not a mainstream product yet, and they can't act like one. That's it. And by doing so, you're throwing money away, especially when they're not getting paid to run anything. They have not had a paid show yet, and WWE is running 12 a year now. It's ridiculous.
Look at the Dark Side of the Ring episode on Herb Abrams and the UWF when he's running a show in Vegas at the MGM Grand, and he's got like maybe 500 people in there or something like that, like something really small number. And the one guy he goes, yeah, Herb walks in, he's like, can you believe it? We got the Grand. We got the MGM Grand. And I'm like, Herb, there's nobody here. And he's like, yeah, but we got the MGM Grand. Like that's Tony Khan. But we're in the Staples Center. Like it's just this
they believe it's name value.
You know who else was in the Staples Center? Wow. Was in the Staples Center. Stop it, Tony.
But no, if you watch that Herb Abrams Cocaine and Cowboy Boots episode of Dark Side of the Ring, it is AEW. Like to a T, it's AEW. Let's see. Shady Davy D. LaFleur says for $2 says over 200 in the chat. Hit that like button. Absolutely. 238 of you right now. So we were over 250 before. I mean, what a fantastic audience we've got here tonight. You guys are amazing. And LC Killer 17 for $2 says awful. Pull a Shannon Sharp. I don't understand this reference.
Oh,
I don't know. Is it because I'm not invited to the cookout or what?
Shannon Sharp went live on IG when he quote unquote didn't mean to, and there were some thrusting and squealing noises going on at the time. And the best part of it was that R-Truth was there in the chat.
Yeah, that was crazy.
In the chat.
Yeah.
R-Truth owned the chat during the whole thing.
He was the AEW neckbeards of that chat.
It was so
Oh,
great.
yeah. Definitely.
Gable Fan Productions for $5 says, I heard a rumor Bobby Lashley's going to AEW. I hope that isn't true. Lashley would immediately outshine everybody on that roster by looks alone. Bobby Lashley will look like
Jiren.
like he will look like Jiren from Dragon Ball Super. He will look like Willie the Giant from Mickey and the Beanstalk if he goes to AEW. There's nobody on that roster. He will dwarf Wardlow. He will dwarf their big guys. And Tony will have no earthly idea what to do with him.
That's what I was gonna say. He won't outshine them though, because he won't be given the opportunity to. He'll be pushed for about 3 months and then he'll quietly disappear. Just like everyone else.
If Lashley and MVP show up, if Lashley isn't winning that title within 15 minutes of his appearing on TV, what was the point?
And by the way, do you think Lashley does not care at all? He is purely in it for the money at this point. That's all.
Yeah.
He is not in it for the love of the game anymore.
He's going to be the one to save us all from Dean Ambrose and his goons of white supremacists. That's what's going to happen.
Oh, by the way,
he'll play the Avery Brooks character in American History X and Reform. And Reform Moxley.
Yeah.
By the way, the rumor that I had heard
together.
The rumor that I had heard from my source was that Shane McMahon and Bobby Lashley and MVP were going to be involved with like the Moxley group, and now that they're quoting dictators, I don't think that might be the case anymore.
No, I think you're right. I think Shane McMahon is going to come in and lead Bobby Lashley and MVP to feud against the new Moxley group, because Shane McMahon, he's always had a little soul in him, right? I mean, he's
I've heard he's invited to the cookout. Just saying.
I don't know if he's invited. I know he's showing up. I know he's gonna be there.
He's showing up and he's bringing potato salad.
But he knows better. No raisins. Shane isn't showing up to a potato salad to a cookout that has potato salad with raisins in it. Linda, Shane,
my aunt Lena used to make meatballs with raisins and pinoli nuts in it. Imagine that. I know. It's an old school Italian thing, but raisins and pinoli nuts. And I remember as a kid, I was so excited because I was gonna have my great aunt Lena's meatballs, and she was as Italian as they come. Her name was Pasqualina. And I remember I bit into the meatball, and I, loud as all hell as a kid, I just went, "Oh, that is the foulest meatball I've ever tasted in my life." So my parents were a little embarrassed that night.
You didn't sprinkle some mozzarella on top of it?
They don't make enough mozzarella in the world, awful, to cover up raisins in a meatball. Liquid Fox for $10 Canadian. I usually download the stream afterward because I work during the live stream, but I'm stopping by for a quick donation on my break because you guys are awesome. I look forward to the show after work. Hey, thank you very much, Liquid Fox. We appreciate you, and we love that you stopped in here today. MJG for $4.99. AEW mostly just hires ex-WWE talent and sets their salaries way too high, and now they will always be spending more or feel even more second rate. That's very true. That is very, very true. I concur. All right, we're gonna take a break from the super chats real quick. We will get back to the rest of them a little bit later on because we got to talk a little bit about our favorite topic here on Tooney Town Wrestling, Mercedes Mone.
Boy, do we need a jingle for that.
We really do. We really need a Mercedes. We need a Mercedes. We need a New Jack thing. There's like
time for Mercedes Mone.
Oh no, like the Friday song.
Yes.
So, and I don't know if this headline is correct. It was a shocking backstage updates on Mercedes Mone. 2 major AEW stars unhappy with it. I wouldn't call this shocking, Sportskeeda. In fact, it's maybe the most believable thing I've ever read in my life.
Yeah, right. This was as inevitable as the tides. Come on.
Yeah, but now, okay. So here's the thing. I believe this story when if Kevin Apollo, you walked up to me and you were like, hey, I heard Mercedes Mone is causing some major issues backstage. A bunch of wrestlers in the back in the women's division are unhappy with her. It's causing drama. I'd be like, yeah, okay, 100% believe that. However, I take this with a grain of salt because of 4 simple words. And that is, according to Ringside News. So I have the reason we're looking at this on Sportskeeda and not Ringside News is because I have no respect for Ringside News. They are the bottom of the barrel. I would trust a Meltzer report before I would trust anything they said. So Mercedes Mone is currently undefeated in AEW. She arrived in All Elite Wrestling earlier this year, became the TBS champion in her debut match at Double or Nothing. New backstage details, however, have come to light regarding multiple stars having issues with her. Saraya and Britt Baker are reportedly unhappy with the CEO. Mercedes Mone made a splash upon arriving in AEW, was quickly pushed to the top, winning the TBS championship from Willow Nightingale. If that wasn't enough, she went on to win the Strong Women's Championship as well. By the way, that feels like a thing that's made up, doesn't it? Strong Women's Championship. Like, it feels like that's a thing that like we would make up to like mock the woke. Like
Strong women.
The stunning and brave title.
Yes, Stunning and Brave Championship. According to reports by Ringside News, so again, guys, grain of salt, Mercedes has been receiving special treatment backstage in the form of her very own locker room, which is an amenity that hasn't been extended to anyone else on the roster. It is also reported that her entourage travels with her for every show. I'm pretty sure if CM Punk had wanted his own locker room, he would have gotten it, but there's no way CM Punk would have taken his own locker room. I don't think. As a result of this special treatment, Britt Baker and Saraya are reportedly unhappy with the TBS champion. It is also reported that Baker was having issues behind the scenes with Mone being a major source of frustration. In recent months, there have been plenty of reports regarding her current deal in AEW. Mercedes is still being booked strongly despite failing to garner any interest for her matches. They're editorializing there, but they're right. They believe she hasn't been the big draw that Tony Khan was expecting her to be. That is putting it mildly, guys. So what do we have to say about this? The Mercedes Mone is finally living up to the promise we were made when she was signed, that she's going to be what we dubbed back then CM Punk.
I mean, it's
CM Punk.
It's no surprise. This is one of those things that you could just report and be right about it because it's obvious, and I mean, Britt Baker being upset. These are 3 people, Britt Baker, Saraya, and Mercedes Mone, who probably would ruin any locker room they're in individually. So putting them in the same company.
Well, somebody in the chat just pointed out, this is the person who has a problem with everybody and the person who Mercedes crippled have a problem with her. You don't say. So,
yeah.
I don't want to spend too much time on this. We're about 260 in the chat right now. Thank you guys so much for showing up tonight.
Awesome.
And being so generous. So big shout out to all you guys.
Can I just
subscribe?
say,
last time I looked, we were at 4,975 subscribers, guys. So we are just 25 away from
so if you haven't subscribed, get on the horn.
Oh,
let's do
it.
Now we're 20. Now we're 24 away. And yes, when we hit 5,000. I am going to stream AEW Fight Forever, and I'm going to make Kevin Apollo do it with me. So, because it's free on PlayStation
tonight.
Plus.
Well, I could get the game for free.
If you haven't subscribed, please get on the horn and subscribe. Get on the horn. What am I, Gene Okerlund?
That game is so bad.
1-900 awful, ladies and gentlemen. Get on the horn.
Mercedes Mone and
See?
Britt Baker having problems? Call the hotline.
That game
You
is
gotta
so bad.
be putting me on.
Max got that game from his other grandma for his birthday, and he played it one day. And then the next day when I woke up, he was playing WWE 2K24 again. And I said, "Oh, don't you want to play more of that other game?" He goes, "What other game?" And I said, "The other wrestling game he got." He goes, "Oh, nah, I'm cool." And he never picked it up again.
Was that a situation where it was like the grandparents? This is why I think most AEW merchandise gets bought. The grandparents go to the toy store to look for a Christmas gift, and they're like, "Well, Billy likes wrestling.
Yes,
that's wrestling, and it's cheaper than the other wrestling stuff. So I'm going to get him this."
It wasn't that it was cheaper; it was that he already had 2K24, and they didn't know what else to get him, so they just got him that.
It was also.
I mean, it was
cheaper.
cheaper. It was $10, but you know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Bia just said, I found a copy at the Lost and Found at my local community center. The kid was banned from the community center.
It's so bad. It's such a bad game. Like everyone's like, "Oh no, it's okay. It's okay as a game." No, it's not. It's terrible. It's a
John
terrible
Williams
video.
is Max is based. Let Max know it is. Yeah, big shout out to Max, by the way. We love Max on this show. We love having Max on the show. So, you know, he's a good kid.
Jory's still out this?
I haven't made my mind yet.
All right, well, I guess this isn't showing Max this clip.
No, if you hear this, Max, I love you. You know that. I can make jokes like that. We're cool like that. So
okay. You're at that level, you're there.
Yeah, I have that kind of relationship with him. I can joke.
Oh my goodness. So anyway, yeah. So Mercedes Mone causing issues in the back. I mean, look, so do the days of our lives, right? But we have a little bit more Mercedes news this week. Well, not really Mercedes news, but you know, we like to report on all the Mercedes news that goes on in the world of wrestling, and we like to do that by going straight to the source. The source being Mercedes Mone herself. Kevin is so upset right now because he knows what's coming. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to go through Mone Mag, Volume 2, Issue 14.
It's weekly.
Oh my God.
Yes, and
what
it is
this?
Oh, were you not here last
No,
week?
he wasn't here. He wasn't here.
Oh, you missed the glory that is. Dis, why don't you explain what Mone Mag is to
Mone Mag is a e-zine written, quote unquote, written from the perspective of Mercedes Mone. Every article, everything in here is written from the perspective of Mercedes. I'm not saying this by her because I don't believe for a second she actually wrote.
Probably Jennifer Pepperman.
Yes.
Oh. Why does it look like first generation internet websites? Like, what's going on here?
All right, so Dis sends it to me via Google Drive, and then I open it in Google Docs. So that's why it looks
the biggest
like this.
virus of all time.
Yeah, she is a huge virus. So, all right. So, from the desk of the CEO.
Oh my
hey,
God.
Mone makers! What a whirlwind of a week it's been. From Camille getting banned from ringside to me tearing up the ring without her. You certainly tore up the ring, lady. Good Lord. I'm here to remind the world that I don't need anyone to prove that I'm still the best. Camille is an incredible bodyguard, truly a lady gladiator. But after all these years, if anyone thinks I can't take care of myself alone in the ring, then they really haven't been watching. All right, so awful. The thing you have to know about this is she flies back and forth between kayfabe and shoot, like, constantly.
Right. I swear, Marv, I thought this was one of your scripts.
No, this is legit.
Awful.
Cow.
She mentioned Jennifer Pepperman last week. Okay.
She did. She did.
This was, oh my Lord.
Now then, I'm excited to share all the latest updates, but just a reminder to press outlets, when crediting us as a source, please credit us as Mone Mag. We are, in fact, a digital magazine and not a newsletter, despite the fact that we send out everything like a newsletter. Like, this is basically like my version of the Wrestling Observer, but it's not, because it's a magazine. This is not a friggin' magazine. This is not an e-zine. This is a newsletter. With that, let's talk Mone. Why the kimono at All Out? See, I really wish I was Asian. That's the thing. Like, I really like Sailor Moon, and I just want to be Asian. And I was dressed like an Asian girl. Look at this, have friggin' kimono. I could not believe she came out with this. And it's the one of the worst wigs she's ever worn, with the Sailor Moon meatballs on her head. Camille was officially banned from my match at All Out. Did that slow me down? Absolutely not. I stepped out in a gorgeous kimono, paying homage to Japan, where I'm the NJPW Strong Women's Champion. I'm so stunning and I'm so brave. I made Boba Fett fall down once. I wanted to remind everyone who holds that title that what better way to do it than to do it in style. After my win over Momo in Washington, D.C., I felt that it was only fitting to honor the country that means so much to my career. So there he was, draped in a kimono and fur coat, as extra as ever, ready to prove again that I'm the best. So what's next for your CEO? I'm on the lookout for my next big match. I don't know who's coming for me, but whoever it is, I'll be ready. And by the way, I totally know who the next one coming for me is because I read all my own stuff.
I handpick them.
All right, so let's look at some of the other headlines. All Out and Arena in-house promotion affecting performances.
Look at that. Oh my God. Can we curse right now? I am visually, I am offended by some of these
All Out and AEW
advertisement
pay-per-views.
pictures.
Mixed emotions on extreme violence in wrestling. This is interesting. Do you want to read? Let's see what else she got. Wrestlers going extreme, which seems like the same thing. Chris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale stole the show. Best in year. Comping tickets for families. Some pictures of her with some people. Drew McIntyre, Bailey, Kathy Kelly, and the Killers Game. That's weird.
Jennifer
Kalisto.
Pepper's niece is making these advertisements.
Oh,
for her.
100%.
She's 14.
And she's writing about her and Charlotte Flair. Yep, share. Yep. Oh my God. Oh, and fan mail. Okay, so we're gonna do the extreme stuff and then we'll do the fan mail. How about that?
Please.
Kevin, are you still with us?
I'm here. I'm here.
All right. So
you don't need a pillow?
Mixed emotions on extreme violence in wrestling. All Out was extremely violent, and honestly, Daniel Bryan's stuff was tough to watch because it was bad. It was like a bad match, guys. Like really bad, right? Like Jack Perry shouldn't have been in there with him. I have mixed emotions. When done right, that kind of stuff could tear a roof off like Daniels did. However, I wouldn't want my brother Joshua to watch stuff like that, or kids for that matter. I love you, Joshua. Don't touch my room. Let's face it, wrestling is multi-generational. When I do signings, I greet so many parents and their children, so many, at least 24. Growing up, I didn't have a father. So especially warms my heart to me. I don't want to make fun of that. Then again, there's an audience that loves the extreme, and you want to cater to them too. But let's just note she has daddy issues. Wrestlers going extreme. When you see your favorite stars going to the extreme, you may want to blame the promotion, but you shouldn't, because it's not the promotion's fault. Because the promotion needs to make lots of money so they can pay it to me. Honestly, though, it's the talent who will usually make the calls in the ring. No, it's not. Not in the place that's run professionally. You think what do you think that on Monday on WrestleMania somebody's bringing out a cinder block without telling Tripp? Is that what you think's going to happen, lady? Let me tell you something. That's not happening.
Wouldn't happen on a house show. Okay.
Yeah, no. While I credit talents who go to the extreme in terms of violence inflicted upon themselves for their passion and courage, I also want to have a longevity and graduate from this world healthy and able to function, not like the people that wrestle me, because they usually end up like Saraya. Our bodies go through enough with all the bumps, not to mention the travel and schedule. Personally, I'm in a place career-wise where I avoid extreme matches unless it's a true big value add to the company. Chris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale stole the show. Best in year. All right, go ahead, Dis. What are you saying?
Do you really believe Mercedes Mone would do one of those matches if it helped the company?
No. If it was if WBD was we will give you $1 billion TV deal, but Mercedes Mone has to land in thumbtacks for it to happen, it's still not happening.
There's no way. The only way it would happen is if WBD said, we're going to give Mercedes Mone a reality show. If she lands in thumbtacks, then she'll do it.
Yeah. Okay, here I am talking about both sides of my mouth. After sharing some strong thoughts at Extreme Wrestling. By the way, your thoughts were not strong.
No,
you were just I don't really like it that much. It's kind of lame.
They weren't stunning or brave.
I wouldn't let Joshua watch it because he's 13 and he's so dumb. Stay out of my room, Joshua. All right, so after sharing some strong thoughts on Extreme Wrestling, I'll state hands down, Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale Street Fight absolutely stole the show except for my match. It was one of the best women's matches of the year except for my matches, and one of the greatest women's street matches I've ever seen except for my matches. I mean it, except for my matches. I couldn't take my eyes off the monitor. Chris and Willow hooked me from the go. Our women's division just keeps ascending. Oh my God.
Marv, the Joshua thing, I choked. I was taking a drink of water. I literally choked while you did that.
I should stay out of my room?
Yeah.
I have no idea how old her brother is. But... All right, this week's Monet Mag mentions. As you know, I can't always respond to your emails and messages, mostly because you all disgust me and I don't want to. But I love reading them, except I don't. I make Jennifer Pepperman read them to me, and I say, like, just give me the veggies, girl. We will feature a few of my faves each week, so please keep them coming. I'll also try to answer some of your questions in upcoming issues, so be sure to keep reading. This week, I want to give a special heartfelt Monet mention to legit boss _02, which is me. Mercedes, I said to myself, you are my only source of inspiration, really. When things go wrong and I'm in a really tough situation, I just wonder, what would Mercedes do? And when I feel I can't do something, I say to myself, Mercedes wouldn't give up neither, and neither should I. I got this upcoming karate tournament. Wait, is this John Moxley?
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Somebody sent me a video.
John Moxley at the community center this weekend.
All right, hold on. We have to go back to the beginning of this one. Mercedes, you're my only source of inspiration, really. When things go wrong and I'm in a really tough situation, I just wonder, what would Mercedes do? And when I feel I can't do something, I say to myself, Mercedes wouldn't give up, neither should I. I got this karate tournament. I'm really nervous and scared, but when I think about all the things you've done and how you've kept on it, gives me adrenaline to keep going too. I just want to say thank you for coming to my life and making it so much better. I didn't have any confidence in myself until I knew you. I love you so much, Mercedes. Thank you for being someone I can always look up to.
That's Smoky Moxley.
I'll say this right now. If one of our listeners can get featured in this section of the Monet Mag and bring up crystals,
you'll be a legend. You'll be a legend. You'll never have to super chat again.
I will give you a $20 Amazon gift card. I absolutely
and you will have all of your you'll have instantly all of your comments forever will be starred.
Yes, that is a legit offer right now.
From the CEO. I love that my matches inspire you and give you confidence, John Moxley. Just remember that when you put in the work to get where you are, it's okay to be scared and nervous. That means you care, but turn those nerves into excitement because you're going to kill it at your karate tournament. I mean, probably not like another soccer dad's probably going to choke you out, but like, I know you can do it. I can't wait to hear how it went. And by the way, I'm never going to hear about how it went because you're never going to be able to talk to me again. Remember, you're the CEO of your life. I'm so proud of you. How much you want to bet she ends every single one with? Remember, you're the CEO of your life.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that these are just made up, like Jennifer Pepperman watched Cobra Kai, and she wrote from the perspective of Sam LaRusso. That's what this one was.
Dear Mercedes, this girl tried to attack me with a spiked belt between her fingers. My boyfriend was then kicked off of the stand at the school and is currently paralyzed, while my ex-boyfriend is now on the lam for doing it to him. Please help. Every 3 months, another karate rival of my dad's rises out of the past, tries to kill us all. Emma Moore says, you have inspired me to become a stronger person, because in the middle school and 6th grade, I was bullied so much, and I'd always watch your matches and promos, and you would always inspire me with your words. XOXO Emma.
I was joking, but I'm serious. She just watched Cobra Kai. That's all she did.
Yeah. There was this boy in school. His name was Dimitri, and he had like a weird lip, but then he got like a mohawk. From the CEO. Hi, Emma. I love that my matches and promos helped inspire you. Please know that I always have your back, except not literally, because like that would be attacking children.
You're
Chris
icky.
Reigns. Chris Reigns said, really enjoyed your match with Bray at All In. I made the flight to London for it. What are your thoughts on everyone putting blame on Britt and getting the brunt of the criticism? I personally would love to see this feud continue, as I think there's still a lot of story to tell. From the CEO, hi Chris, who is everyone? Because I'm gonna beat them up. I love that you enjoyed the match because like nobody else did. Like, I love that you enjoyed the match based on your own judgments and not based on others' snowballing opinions, because that's a lack of abundance. And the Crystals told me that I had the best match ever. I would love to face Britt again too. I definitely know there are more stories to tell. Casey Morgan writes, I really loved and enjoyed your match against Momo Watanabe at Capital Collision, one of your best matches since your return last March, and I'm looking forward to watch your rematch against Hikaru Shida at All Out. You and her will put on a hell of a show. From the CEO, thank you, Casey, for watching. I really enjoyed that match against Momo. I can't wait to defend my NJPW Strong title again. Who do you think should be my next opponent? Please tell me, because if I like your answer, like it'll happen, because like I can just tell Tony Khan who my next opponent is.
I literally don't know who any of these people are. So please tell me who I should fight now.
Please include a snapshot photograph of them and label it, please. Especially if there's more than one, because like I really don't know who any of their names are, and they keep telling me, and I'm like, guys, I don't care.
You know,
Karina
literally incorrectly all the time.
Karina Santillano. Mercedes. I appreciate you and your career. I name my kitty after you, Mercedes Mone. From the CEO. Oh my God, Karina. Mercedes Mone is like the best cat name ever. You have to tag me in a pic. Oh my God.
Kev, isn't that your cat's name? Mercedes Meow Sadie.
It is now. It is now.
It will not be.
It's gonna make you so angry that you'll make the cat be not in the room anymore, and then I'll win.
I threw her out.
By the way,
people paying for this? By the way,
somebody please just tag her in the picture of like the mangiest, most terrible cat you can find, and say, "Hi, it's me, Karina Santillano, and this is Mercedes Mone." Mike DeSorbo writes, Mercedes, you crushed it in DC with Momo. You didn't seem afraid at all. It was well worth the trip to see you main event NJPW for the second time. Add it to all the history already. Go out there and do the same with Shida in Chicago. From the CEO. Aw, Mike, thank you so much for making the trip to DC to support me. And thank you also for not coming near me or touching me. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being part of the Monet Crow.
I agree with her on that one. I could feel the sweaty coming out of that letter.
No, I'm pretty sure my voice on that one was pretty spot on.
Yeah. Are these the guys that are posting? Are these the guys that are posting themselves doing the Mercedes dance on Twitter all the time now?
Maybe. We don't refer to those as guys. Those are.
I'm just waiting for you to do it, Kev. When are you going to do the Mercedes dance on TikTok?
10,000 subscribers. Kevin Apollo will do the Mercedes CEO dance.
I'll have that tomorrow. Okay, I know people in Indonesia that can take care of that really quick.
Oh my goodness. People are like this. People actually like. Do people actually like subscribe to this like unironically? Like, is everybody subscribing to this like diss? Like,
I don't want to tell people how to do it because I want to keep it my secret. But I will say that all the questions and answers are done over social media because there were people in the chat asking how to send in questions. All you have to do is tag Mercedes on social media and she will. Yeah, that's how you do it.
Oh my goodness.
On a side note, not to derail the topic of conversation, but on the Xbox, X Machine. The USA Network has a little put up a tweet or an X or whatever you call it, and it's like a girl holding up a sign that says "I quit my job," and then the USA Network Twitter responds, "That's a little extreme, but we appreciate it." However, all ego Ethan Page responds with, "Me too, lady."
Oh, jeez.
Did anybody listen to her song yet?
I'm sorry.
Is
what
it
was that?
Mish last week told us that she has a song out and that is on Spotify.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
And
Mish
we
said
haven't
last
gotten
week.
a hold of it.
I mean, we can't actually play it on the air
Right.
because we'll get demonetized for that. But
That could be a Patreon thing. That could be...
oh, you know that's gonna be a oh my god, yes, here
I
it
will
is.
join you for that. If you do that,
Here
I
it
will
is.
join.
Here it is. Wait, there's a couple of them. There's one called CEO.
Oh boy.
There's one called Monet.
Really? What's the third one called? Mercedes? I mean, Jesus. This creativity bubbling out of her thick skull.
I'm sorry, guys. I have to just.
Marv's just like,
like
bam,
her.
I'm gonna listen to this.
Yeah, vamp
Yeah,
for
I
a
mean,
second,
what's
guys.
We got a band for a second.
I think this is just a theme.
Oh, he said the single was on Spotify. So,
Oh my god, she's rapping.
All right, play it. We're gonna risk the monetization tonight.
No, we
We'll
cannot.
cut it
We
out of the
cannot play
replay.
it.
We'll cut it-
We cannot play it. But my god.
Maybe we should hang out for 5 minutes after the show and listen.
Oh
to
my
it and put it on
god,
Spot-
it's
and put it
literally
on
just her being
Patreon.
like, it's literally her being like, oh my god, like bah, na, 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 na,
Oh,
na,
see.
na. Like it's so bad.
I'm gonna need clarification on those lyrics.
Oh, let's pull up the lyrics. We could pull up the lyrics, Marv.
Okay, yeah, no, pull up the lyrics. Pull up the,
How about that's next week instead of doing Monet
What's
Mag?
happening?
We'll pull up the lyrics to it.
no,
That
we're
sounds
still
good.
doing Monet Mag. That's my new favorite thing.
Okay. I'm ruining Kev's life. I just want to point that out.
Okay, so here's some of the lyrics, right? I'm just gonna read them in my voice because my voice is getting tired. Heavens to Virgil, they gave me a bigger check. Hurts my heel, but never skipped a step. Heard I healed, got the women pressed. Look, I'm top tier, all the standards set. Bounced back in the game. This is soundtrack to my reign.
You know something? Can I? They're not bad.
No,
Not bad.
they're okay.
Okay,
She
no,
is
I
the
want
cousin-
to do this to you like
You're
the
just
way that
reading
she
them.
does it.
Mhm.
Heavens to Virgil, they gave me a bigger check. Hurt my head, but it never skipped a step. Heard I got the women pressed. Look up top tier in the standard set. It's like literally like that. It's like the words like fly out of her mouth.
Her cousin is Snoop Dogg. She should have better writers than this. Is all I'm saying.
Chat GPT wrote that for her.
You heard the crowd clapping and praise. Champion's belt back on my frame. It's been a minute. Y'all get it back when I'm finished. CEO handling business. This was the mission. Stepping on all of my minions, then get back to counting them millions.
Oh gosh, we're doing this.
It's been a thing, conquered
We're all
all of
in.
my dreams. Now it's a regular scene. It's all in my genes. Because soon as I hear a ding, they know a boss is in the ring. But the second as soon as I hear a ding, I'm like, oh god, this is gonna be about the ring, isn't it?
Is
Look
the
at this-
beat hot at all, Marv?
No, I mean, I'm not a very good judge, but look at the scars. Look at the scars, all of this pain. I hear the fans calling my name. I know the cost all for this fame. You call them dues, I call them paid. I got what it takes. Y'all just be taking them L's. I'm great. No, they aren't taking that well. Mistakes, nah, don't make them as well. Monet, I give them hell in a cell.
Okay,
Mm.
okay. So I just had Grok write in a rap from the perspective of Mercedes Mone.
Here.
Oh, give it.
Yo, it's Mercedes Mone stepping in the ring. Got the game on lock. Hear the crowd scream and sing. From the top tier, setting standards, no cap. Heard I'm back, and the woman, they're all on my map. Hurt my heel.
This is literally the exact, like, this is literally this song.
Brock is also whack.
What's this? Hurt my heel, but never skipped a beat. Bounce back like a boss. Ain't nothing sweet. Look at my reign. This is my domain. CEO in the ring. Feel the hurricane. And the chorus goes, CEO, I'm running the show. CEO, watch how I glow. They call me the boss. Yeah, you know, Mercedes Mone. Watch the world below. That's better. That's better.
That is better. The chorus in this one is CEO, cause we're all. CEO, cause we're all. CEO, cause we're all. CEO, cause I'm CEO, cause I'm CEO, cause we're all. CEO, cause I'm
Yeah, this is better. Listen to this. I'm only human, but I'm great. That's for sure. Living proof from the floor to the top. I endure. Never stop. Never will. That's my creed. CEO life. It's me. You'll see succeed. This is better than what
Brock is the new E40.
All right, guys. All right,
Okay.
guys. Insiders and FDM subscribers on Patreon this week, you're gonna get a watch along of this song. Because we have to move on, but like I don't want to. I'm so entertained. But guys, it's time. We have to go from one of our favorite subjects to the other. It's time. Well, you know what? First of all, we have a couple more super chats we got to get to. I can't forget our wonderful, wonderful people out there. So let's see. Where was the last one we did? MJG for $2 says Tony has dangerously inflated talent bubble. I agree. Ruben Hart says, what is your favorite finishing move in wrestling? For me, it's Jake Roberts DDT.
Is Ruben Hart Max? Max asks me this question every time we watch wrestling.
Wouldn't that be funny if one of like our regulars is Max and he's like paying super chats with your card?
No, that wouldn't be funny at all.
I pop for it.
Max is Colin Taylor. Randy Savage elbow drop is mine.
So here's my criteria. For me, it's got to be something that you could hit on anyone. So like, something like the torture rack, for example. Like if you can't hit that on the Big Show, which by the way Lex Luger could, then it's not a great finisher. But so I always like Diamond Dallas Page's Diamond Cutter and Jake Roberts DDT. Short, sweet, to the point. And I mean, I think the greatest finisher in the history of wrestling is the Stone Cold Stunner.
It's interesting.
Kevin,
I'm with this on this one.
The elbow drop.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah. The elbow drop, definitely. Macho Man all day.
Kevin?
Would have been Kyrie Sane if she kept it up. But...
She had a nice one.
Yeah.
She still does.
An excellent one.
I think the Stunner is my favorite.
Yeah.
I think the Stunner is my favorite. And then probably Sid's Powerbomb. Because I think Sid's Powerbomb was the best Powerbomb.
It was a good Powerbomb. Adam Wilson for $10. In 2019, I was seriously rooting for AEW and enjoyed the product through the pandemic. Then it turned to dog excrement garbage. TK needs to lay off the effing booger sugar and get his stuff together. I mean, look, I think a lot
of you guys
of
are going to stop talking about Tony like that.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. I'm telling you.
First you get the sugar, then you get the then you get the power.
One of my favorite lines in one of my favorite punchlines in the headlines this week is Tripp is talking about how Bret Hart pulled Shawn's hair out in the locker room fight, and he blames him for Shawn now being bald today because he disfigured him. And so I go, does that mean was Bret Hart also responsible for the lazy eye? And he goes, no, that was cocaine. Just flat out, no, that was cocaine. But yes, I agree. John J8999 for $199 says Bobby's doing a YouTube series interviewing kid athletes. I'm going to assume he means Bobby Lashley. That's interesting.
That's neat.
Good for Bobby Lashley. Christopher Miller for $2. Cassidy will be no-selling Lashley 3 months in. Well, I have a feeling if he does it, it'll only be once. And then he won't be done. He won't no-sell the next thing that happens. Rex Gardner for 5. Is that euros? I believe.
Dongs, I
Maybe.
believe.
Tony Khan eats his cereal out of Mercedes Mone's orifice and serves his new master. My goodness. Oh, Andre Adams says, thanks to Marv, whenever Monet speaks, all I hear is Lumpy Space Princess. Oh my glob. She kind of is Lumpy Space Princess. But really, I mean, the voice is kind of mostly inspired by Lola Stumpy from Big Mouth. But yes, it's also kind of Lumpy Space Princess. Ben, don't cancel movie night. I literally been having the time of my life. I love Adventure Time before it got like too much, when they decided that everything on Adventure Time suddenly had to be part of the overarching story. We never got fun episodes anymore. Like, just give me an episode of BMO for 15 minutes wandering around doing random stuff, and I'm happy. Tyler Galansky says goes into fetal position as mom does Mercedes. Tyler Galansky says, Kevin, we needed a cat run in now. Chad JID 999 for 199 says, Mom, and I will try and get in the Monet mag. No, you super chat too much. I'm not willing to give those up. I take it all back. Oh my goodness. Plenty Pigs Lots is that LSP was great. It was literally just my Mercedes Mone voice. It's just I was doing an actual LSP. Hey girl, that was always my favorite, with Turtle Princess going, hey girl. Oh man, I love that show. It was good. All right, so
Meltzer.
It is now time for one of our favorite topics of the week. It is time for a little segment we like to call That's Dave for You. Awful, that is the greatest gift you've given this show. My favorite thing in the world. All right. So Dave Meltzer has spouted his mouth up quite a bit in the last week. One of the main things that I feel like we need to talk about is oh my goodness. It is hold on, I'm trying to find the bookmark thing that I had here. Why are my bookmarks not showing up now? What the heck, Twitter? I have all my Dave Meltzer stuff all ready to go, and now all of a sudden,
oh darn!
Now
get it together, Elon.
Yeah, now thanks a lot, Elon.
No Meltzer this week. Darn it!
No, we're still gonna have Meltzer this week.
No, please.
Oh no, never mind. I found it. Here it is. Oh wait, no, have I? Yes, I think so.
Kev looks like Britt Baker when she came out to fight Mercedes Mone right now. This is the only time you'll ever see Kev give boo-boo face, is when we're going into Dave Meltzer or Mercedes.
Oh man. Okay, so here we go. So when Dave Meltzer was questioned on the change in the way he rates matches, right? The why there's so many of these 5-star matches now. He's like, Dave Meltzer really ought to do something like a 50 rewatches where they accumulate a list, angle matches, Taker HBK, and he re-rates them with today's lens. I think the person was saying, I think you'd find that a lot more of them would get 5 stars. And he goes, it's the opposite. I just watched a few 4.5s from the past that would be a generous 3.75 to 4.0 today. Most 5s, not all, from the 80s and 90s would be 4.25 to 4.5 today. That means Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter is saying that the greatest matches of all time are happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, Will Ospreay didn't exist back then. AEW didn't exist back then.
Somebody commented, how did wrestling survive for all this time before AEW showed up? Everything up to now is biding time for AEW and Will Ospreay to show up.
Rolling out the red carpet for him.
I mean, what
We give so much stock into these star matches that this guy has been conjuring up for like the last 30 years, and it's.
I mean, I never have.
Tiring.
I mean, like it's one stupid old man's opinion.
Well,
And people act like, well, that was a 5-star match. Like, no, it was he. He said it was a 5-star match. What does he know?
Well,
It's his subjective opinion.
You smashed it on the head. He's an old man now. He's doing the fellow kids nonsense. Like I get it. Way back
everything
when,
with him is that.
Yep. He was king of the marks. Right. Like even Vic Venom kissed his butt. And now he's old. Well, this is just like I think it was like 2 weeks ago, or it was or the same time span where he's like, all these idiot podcasters, I'm the one in the know, they're catching up.
Yeah, he said he was ahead of the curve.
Yeah, it's like, all right, bro, but like everybody watching AEW knows that they're doing it your way and your way failed, but like, you're an old man. You're no one believes that you're in touch. You're not in touch anymore. So you sit down and you throw this disingenuous nonsense out so that you can be like, look, I'm still cool. I know this is a pile of dog crap bigger than the T-Rex dung from the original Jurassic Park. But I'm going to tell you it's okay. It's good. 5 stars. Infinity plus 12 stars.
But so it reminds me, there's a great episode of South Park where Randy Marsh starts listening to Tween Wave music, and it literally just sounds like farting to him. And because, like, you know, when you get to a certain age, the modern music sounds awful, but he can't accept that he's old, so he has to pretend that he likes it the whole time. And then he starts performing Tween Wave and like starts farting into the microphone. And that's what Meltzer with AEW is, because you know he must hate most of it, right? Like a guy who lived through Flair and Steamboat has to hate most of this.
Are you saying Dave Meltzer is Lord? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, I am Lord. I am Lord. La la la. I am Lord.
So some of the people in the chat have got to understand. Like me, I'm sure all of us here. We came through from a generation where where 2 guys used to review movies and they'd give them 2 thumbs up, 2 thumbs down, but they never did a thumbs in the middle type John. So when we look at these damn star ratings, it's just like, what is this? Even who was the long mustachioed fella that used to
Rex
do
Reed?
Who used to do the movie reviews for like NBC?
Yeah.
Gene,
whoever he was. We all know. He was the one with the star.
Siskel and Ebert?
No.
the other
Siskel and Ebert
Gene.
was the thumbs up and down. Yeah, there was a Gene guy or whatever. Anyway, he did the star system, but he never did it was never like 2.5 star, 2 3/4 stars, or no. It was 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, and sometimes 5 star in Meltzer. But this whole breakdown, 3.75 is the same as 4.25. Like, give me a break with all that. He is out of touch. He's not generational. He is not transcended his generation. He's not been to innovate his nonsense to
Gene
even
Shalit.
attract a larger base.
Yeah,
Gene
that's it.
Shalit. Thank you, sir. Yeah, we're all old. So, but yes, I mean, well, some of us are.
Well, and you
That's
know,
all I got.
but you know what? I feel like Meltzer's match ratings are a microcosm of what modern movie reviews are today anyway, because Meltzer is bought and paid for by AEW, much like modern movie reviewers are bought and paid for by the movie studios.
Yeah.
And
and Roger Ebert, to his credit, went out and made a movie and learned the process. And with even with things like because I'm old enough to remember when they reviewed Ace Ventura and they said it was the worst thing they've ever seen. And then about a year and a half later, they were like, we didn't understand what we were seeing. It's actually genius. We love it. So it's like, you're not going to get that from these guys.
No. Well, nowadays, you know, movie reviewers are bought and paid for in the same way Meltzer is, where it's not through money, it's through access. You know, you give the terrible live action Little Mermaid a decent review, and then you get invited to the next screening. You get an advanced screener copy of things. It's not like it was with the studios with, Siskel and Ebert were the guys everybody went to, so they got everything, whether they gave you a good review or a bad review. If you wanted to be reviewed, you got reviewed, but you sent it to Siskel and Ebert. And now people are trying to cancel Jeremy Johns because he reviewed that Am I Racist movie. Like it's insane how like it's all gotten so wrapped up in everything. Meltzer is the same way. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Meltzer is the same way. He's bought and paid for by AEW in the fact that AEW props him up as the guy to hear from, and that in turn brings him more business because the AEW fans all value his opinion and pay his $14.99 a month.
Exactly. Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel came from two influential newspapers at the time. I think one of them was the Chicago Tribune. Like these were big newspapers for the city and also for the nation. But that's a different story for a different day. Ultimately, Dave Meltzer's out of touch, and he's going to have to, like this said, the reins have got to somehow go to Brian Alvarez if this man, happens to, disappear somehow, some way. And Alvarez is going to take up slack for that because,
he's no better. Alvarez is no better. I mean, at least Alvarez is sometimes honest.
But
stickly
he
himself.
probably has a better grasp of, the youth of today.
I think Alvarez holds a lot. I think Alvarez holds a lot back because of Dave. He has a lot more common sense than Dave does. But he knows where his bread's buttered, so he can't really go there.
Hold on. I think Alvarez is transcended financially over Dave Meltzer, don't you think?
Yeah, but I think he
that
wants
man's
the Observer.
Like he does 10 podcasts a day.
Yeah, but I think without the Observer, I think he wants the Observer, and he knows that he has to stick around and kiss his butt until he gets
you think Observer. So you think when Dave retires, he bequeaths the Observer to Brian Alvarez, as opposed to just, having the Observer buried with him like the pharaohs of old.
Yeah, 100%.
Maybe his son will take over.
Dave Meltzer's son.
I mean, look, Jim Cornette said, and I will never forget this quote. He said, "Damn, if Dave Meltzer loved his wife the way he loved AEW, he'd still have a wife." So, somebody said, somebody else commenting goes, "Is it though? Why is AEW's attendance and TV viewership down this year? Possibly due to poor booking and driving off viewers with incoherent storylines might also cause the decline." And he goes, "I've written more about these subjects than probably any person alive, and I know I've studied them more deeply and given historical perspectives as well. Why are you commenting without even knowing this basic info?" Again, this Dave Meltzer, I am smarter than you. I know more than you. Nobody else is allowed to have an opinion on these topics because I'm Dave Meltzer and I understand TV, despite having never worked in any level of television production in my life. I know more about TV than Eric Bischoff, a guy who co-owned a production company that was responsible for every wonderful Scott Baio reality show we've ever gotten.
Right.
Which is, one. Plus the Surreal Life.
Dave Meltzer does the most disingenuous thing. He's always going for the low-hanging fruit comment in one of his posts, and then he'll quote tweet the thing, and then say something like this, like, "You don't know squat." It's essentially, Marv, like it's a terrible bit of his personality.
He blocks anyone who can have a decent argument with him. He blocks anyone who proves a point, and he keeps the morons who will just, I'm not saying everyone who's not blocked by Dave Meltzer is a moron. I'm saying people who have interacted with Dave Meltzer on an intelligent level and can prove that he's not right get blocked every time. So,
I was thinking about I block a lot of people too, but I block people when they attack. Right. When somebody says something rude or something or calls a name or something like that, that's when I'm like, I have no time for you anymore. Somebody wants to have a polite discussion about things that they disagree with me about, which doesn't happen very often. It's usually the insults and whatever. But when somebody wants to have a legitimate discussion, if somebody wants to have a legitimate discussion, I'll have a legitimate discussion with you all day. And I am also not as I am not so arrogant as to think that my way is the only way. You can very easily, if you prove your point, convince me that I'm wrong, and I will say, you know what, you're right, I'm wrong. I didn't see it that way. Can you imagine Dave Meltzer ever saying to one of these guys, "You're right, I'm wrong"?
No, never
He
has,
couldn't.
never will.
He couldn't. When he got caught with the valuation of AEW bullcrap that he got caught with the other week, he didn't even apologize for that. He just said, "I'm taking this down for now." As in, I still think I'm right, but people are giving me crap, so I'm taking it down. He did apologize for a couple things. Like when he got taken in by that person claiming that they worked for NJPW, I believe he apologized for that.
It took him a long time. It took him a long time.
Longer than it should have.
For that.
Yeah, Dis, talk about that for a second. I got to blow my nose.
Yeah, no, it took he was proven wrong like 4 or 5 different times, like proven that this guy was a joke. And he said, "Well, I have to do my own investigation," several times before he admitted that it was incorrect. He just doesn't do.
You think he knew sooner?
What's that?
You think
I knew sooner? I knew sooner. Awful. It was clear. They Wrestling Inc. presented the proof, and Dave still was like, "Well, I have to investigate it myself first," and it took him weeks to do that.
Man, the I was trying to. Man, I had something to add to this, and now I forgot it. Well, that's my stupid brain.
Oh, there it goes.
Yep, there it goes. I'm sure it was a wonderful thought. Maybe one day I'll remember it. I blew it out through my nose. My wonderful point that I had to make. Oh no, I remember it now.
Tony.
It is a point that Tony blows things into his nose. He sucks things into his nose. I blow things out of my nose. No, Dave Meltzer is obsessed with being the first person to the plate, because that's what he thrives on. If he's the first person out with the news, then all the other outlets are going to quote him, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, which are his favorite words in the English language strung together. That's why he jumps the gun constantly, because it's a constant rush to be first to the plate. Now, when this happens, he constantly shows his ass on the headlines this week, which, by the way, when this show is over, we're going to be redirecting you guys over to the headlines, in case you haven't seen them yet. When he constantly shows his ass with these things, it's because he rushed to get to the plate. He did not verify his resources. He just heard what he wanted to hear, and he went to print with it. Now, a guy like Sap, who I know you guys don't like, which, say what you will about him personally, Sap is a lot of times the second guy to the plate, but he's the guy correcting the first guy to the plate.
You don't have rather be the best person out there right now is Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson too. 100%. There was something last week that like he broke, and it was funny because there were a lot of people who broke the wrong thing, and then he was very late on the story, but he got the story right and everyone else got it wrong, because he's not worried about making news, he's worried about breaking news and making sure that it's correct, while Dave Meltzer is obsessed with being the news. He doesn't want, that's what he wants. He wants to be the story.
He wants to be the Walter Cronkite of wrestling. He wants to be the guy that gives you the news.
Yeah.
And I could, there's at least 5 or 6 other guys who are better than him at this, including Sap, including Johnson, including the wrestling news on Arcadian Vanguard every morning. I used to listen to that every morning. I should start listening to that again, but sometimes I just need a break from the wrestling news. But yeah, I mean, like Boris put out, Sean Ross Sapp double sources his stories. It's, that's what you have to do to be a responsible journalist. Dave doesnn't care about that. Dave's not
good for Sean Ross Sapp.
I know you don't like him, but you have to give the guy some professional credit.
I didn't say no. I said good for him.
I always tell the story about Matt Hardy back in the day, where Dave Shear and Mike Johnson were talking about how they kept getting stories from Matt Hardy, and they'd see them just everywhere else online. But every time they tried to double source them, they couldn't get a double source on them, so they didn't report them. And of course, the person who reported it every time was Dave Meltzer. Every time. He gets work.
Adam, you bastard. Lita, you whore. ROH.
And that's why
that's why
JBL never went. JBL never went to anyone else except Dave Meltzer because he knew Dave Meltzer would report everything he said. So,
and that's the thing; these guys would report to him the news that made them look better to the Smart Mark fans, and they would play the politics game like that, and it worked. It worked because Dave Meltzer, a wrestler, somebody on the inside of the business telling Dave Meltzer something is the equivalent of changing Ron Burgundy's teleprompter. If it's on the teleprompter, Burgundy will read it. So, if it comes from somebody who claims to be in the wrestling business, Dave Meltzer will report it. Simple. Well, that has been this week's edition of That's Dave for you.
I was just about to say, Dave, I have it on good authority that Adam is responsible for the death of the Kittner boy.
He fed him to that shark. Remember when he got the DUI? We used to say Ed showed up in a Mountie costume to arrest him on horseback, wearing a full Mountie outfit. Hey Matt,
how you doing, bud?
Hey Matt, how's it going there? Now. Have a couple little drinkies there, huh? By the way, has there ever been any more of an example of the bad guy winning than Edge? The villain of a story wins in the end is just 100% Edge.
Yeah, a flawless victory.
Yeah,
got the girl, got the title, got the Hall of Fame ring.
Triple H. I'd say Triple H would be the villain.
What did Triple H do that was villainous?
Everything he could have. Everything. I mean, he was the villain. He was the villain. He was the wrestling villain of the aughts, remember? With RVD and Jericho and everyone else, all the people that he buried and destroyed and everything.
Oh, you were going to let those guys be your main guy? I don't think so.
And it was so bad that Vince magically healed himself and showed up the next night on TV. A mere 4 weeks after tearing both his quads,
when he regenerated his quadriceps because Triple H did a 25-minute promo in the middle of the ring, sitting in his folding chair with the spotlight on him.
Yeah,
I don't even want to stand when I deliver this promo. Let me just run down the whole roster.
Gotta run them all down.
Meanwhile, back in Connecticut, I
have the power. We're like you see him like standing like super slow, and then all of a sudden just starts doing a very stiff version of the billionaire strut.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. All right. Do we want Awful, because your microphone is rebelling against you and we're a little tight on time, do we want to push Awful Jeopardy to next week?
Certainly.
Because we still got New Jack to do.
Give you time to shine.
Oh, I'd love to do New Jack.
Yeah. So I'm sure you would, you pervert.
He is New Jack. He is New Jack. We discovered last
right.
week.
We did discover that he is indeed New Jack.
All right,
so Christopher Torres
all look alike.
Marv said
no. Kevin doesn't look like New Jack.
Kevin looks like Booker T.
At least he did. At least it wasn't Keith Lee.
I'm just repeating stuff Marv has told me. So
wow, Dis. It's supposed to be incompetent.
See that bus?
You literally
That bus.
No, Triple H called him Booker T. I
True.
didn't. Just like Triple H buried Bret Hart on the headlines this week, not me.
Good point. I'm sorry.
Christopher Torres for $4.99. Meltzer's own grotesque tongue is responsible for taking up all the blood and oxygen from his brain. Oh, the tongue thing is so weird. It's so weird. It's like a compulsion. I don't understand it. Craig Churchill for $2 Canadian. No, you know what? I do understand it because Eugene used to do that all the time too. So it makes sense if you look at it in a certain way. Craig Churchill for $2 Canadian says, "Those who can do, those who can't, quote, study this." Yes. Well, that's the thing. Like a lot of times, like even Alvarez, right? Alvarez is a former wrestler. turned pundit and journalist. Alvarez can give you Alvarez might not have gotten to the big dance, but Alvarez can at least give you a perspective on what it's like in the ring. It's why we value Kev's opinion so much. Kev's been in the ring and Kev's been backstage in locker rooms and has worked with a lot of legends. So that goes a long way. Dave, even Sean Ross Sapp has worked in the ring. I don't know. Was Mike Johnson ever?
No, but him and Dave and Buck Woodward did a lot of work with ECW back in the day backstage.
Mm-hmm.
So they ran their newsletter and did merchandise.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they have legit. Dave Meltzer has never worked in the wrestling business at any level. He's just a fan who started a newsletter. It's like the Monet mag all of a sudden deciding that it's journalism.
Well, they did. Remember, because they said source them. So they did do that, actually, Mark.
By the way, what
AP format only?
By the way, what news outlet is pulling news from the Monet mag?
They did last week. A ton.
Yes, actually, yeah. So someone pulled it last week. I quoted it on my Twitter machine.
Yeah, me and you were talking about it on Twitter. Yeah, that was one of the only things I posted about on Twitter was his conversation, because one of the news sites was pulling the stuff about the Mercedes view of hardcore wrestling and turned that into a story. So
she didn't give an opinion.
We had to actually add context. Yeah, we had to add context because the story was that she was all for it and loved it, and we had to add the context that she said that it was the wrestlers who made the call. Yeah. So.
Oh my God. It's the wrestlers who make the calls. We're the ones in charge because he doesn't ever tell us what to do.
Oh no, that's what it was. It was that she was putting over Chris Statlander and Willow. That was the story that they pulled. Yeah.
Okay. Jamie Earhart for $5 Canadian says, you may have watched the NFL all of your life. Doesn't mean you're qualified to be a coach or even a play-by-play guy.
I disagree.
Look, I have met many a person sitting on a couch that has never played a day of football outside of a high school. That sits there and is like, this is what that coach should have done. So, but again, they don't say that they don't put themselves over as we talk about what bookers should do. I've done some writing and Kevin's worked in the business, but I've not written for wrestling, but we can only talk on a certain level. Dave makes himself out to be the authority. That's the difference here. Is we say it's our opinion.
We should remake the movie Eddie and centered around a Meltzer booking WrestleMania.
Oh God. Oh, could you imagine?
I thought you were going to say the Ringer.
It would be.
And Eddie being the Whoopi Goldberg classic where she becomes the coach of the New York Knicks.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say the Ringer with Johnny Knoxville. Remake with
Christopher O'Torres for $10 says, with all this dangerous hardcore garbage that's been happening in the company lately, AEW is just a fantasy booking away from reenacting the bedroom scene from Terrifier 2. I'm not familiar with Terrifier 2 or its accompanying bedroom scene.
I just put that in my Amazon.
I'm going to take Kev's reaction as proof that would not be a good thing to have done. All right.
You can't talk about it.
I feel bad because I put Awful Jeopardy in the title and we're not doing it now. But it was a stacked show. I'm going to do Awful Jeopardy next week. But we'll kick off with it. We'll do super chats and then we'll get right into Awful Jeopardy.
The questions
unless bigger news happens, and then you're eventually going to become Matt Damon at the end of the Jimmy Kimmel show, where he's always like, apologies to Matt Damon.
That long-winded, unfunny joke.
Yeah, not to be confused with all of his other long-winded, unfunny jokes.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys ready for this week's New Jack promo of the week? Which, by the way, guys, last week's New Jack promo of the week had to be edited out of the show because we got demonetized for it.
What?
So, yes, we did. So, if that happens again, I'm going to be taking the New Jack promos of the week that get cut, and I'm going to be putting them on Patreon for all levels. So, all levels on Patreon will be able to relive the New Jack promos of the week. So
can I tell Neckbeard's quick story about how he got this?
Are you allowed to tell that story?
Yeah, he said I could. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
go ahead.
He was in a Facebook group, a very public Facebook group back in the day, where they were talking about New Jack, and he mentioned that he was looking for this promo forever, and New Jack himself actually messaged Beard and gave him this promo because Beard wanted it so bad, and now here we are watching it today. It's one of Neckbeard's old gold rings that he was always looking for. So
you're leaving out the best part of that story.
What is it?
How New Jack said he was a bounty hunter and he would carry a
crossbow.
Yeah.
So you can tell that.
No, I basically just said it. I think that was the whole thing, wasn't it? New Jack told Beard that he was a bounty hunter and would carry a crossbow with him.
Because New Jack asked because Beard asked how he got away with this stuff back in the day, and he said, because I was a bounty hunter and carried a crossbow, so no one messed with me.
Why New Jack, instead of carrying a gun, is carrying a crossbow? That's badass. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What's up with our show? What's up with our show and wrestling bounty hunters? That's my question.
Apparently, if you were a wrestler that became a bounty hunter, you're going to have a regular segment on this show. All right, ready?
Ready.
Here we go.
This time,
Jim Ross.
I would like to.
Wait, Jim Ross was in Smoky Mountain?
Yep.
I didn't know that. I've not seen a lot of Smoky Mountain.
Oh, you
interview.
should.
Wait, was this after he got fired by the WWF the first time?
No, I think this was between WCW and WWF.
No, I think he went right from WCW to WWF.
It might have been the same.
I think this was. I think this was after he got fired for refusing to wear the cowboy hat, right?
I don't think he was fired. I think they brought him on, and that he was just kind of not doing anything other than videos and like little short things.
Yeah, you have to understand. Smoky Mountain used like Undertaker and Bret Hart and people like that. So they had a close relationship with WWF at the time.
The Knoxville chapter of the NAACP, which by the way is probably they probably don't speak up very often, but probably terrified back then in this area. But
Smoky Mountain's so weird. Like they were feuding with Rock and Roll Express at the
amazing. That's amazing. Are not those of Smoky Mountain Wrestling on this station. That's so epically over. I love that. Well, love that.
Look at Neckbeard's in the chat, by the way. This was real.
I can't see the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, this is real. The NAACP actually did complain about this to them.
Oh, yeah. I see that now.
This isn't an angle.
Interesting. All right. Carrying on.
And Smoky Mountain Wrestling are not going to be responsible for what you're saying on your interviews. And
so essentially, you just told New Jack he could say whatever the hell he wants.
Right.
I'll beat you like I own you is an amazing quote. It's not my favorite. My favorite is still the one that I heard on an indie show years ago, which was I'll beat you like you're my kids. He was talking about the Dudleys, and he said, I'm going to beat them like they my kids. And the Dudleys were in the WWE at the time, and I guess the Dudleys had said something about him, like publicly, and that he didn't care for, and on an indie show, he had to address the situation. Even Mustafa's like, uh-oh.
I don't know about you, Marv, but I've got 3 New Jacks in my family.
I don't have any New Jacks in my family. Thank you. I don't believe so. I mean, we have a Sicilian branch of our family, but it's
one's a woman.
One's a woman. Oh my goodness! He just called the NAACP. I'm not going to repeat it.
You can't say that.
I can't say it. I can't say it even at the
name is in the title, Marv. So I mean,
it's true. He still can't say it.
Actually, colored people.
But, no, it's the N is national.
Yeah.
Not in some circles.
I don't run in those circles, awful, despite what you may have heard. This is a shoot. Listen, every New Jack promo is a shoot, but this one's a shoot.
Look at Jim Ross, though. This is like a Thursday to him. You know what I mean? Like he's unfazed by it all.
Do you think he's unfazed, or do you think he's terrified?
No, he's completely unfazed. He's gone through the Ernie Lads, the Thunderbolt Pattersons. You know,
True.
well, maybe not.
Yeah, Bill
but,
Watts.
You know, he's run into them. Yeah. He
Well,
knows,
this is also
he knows
not.
this
This is
language
not
too well.
This is not the New Jack that would then like start trying to commit murder in the ring. Yet,
Right,
So
right.
he would never have worked in the WWE. Could you imagine him trying to play by Vince's rules?
I don't know. His TNA run is fantastic.
Yeah, he might. His
I don't
TNA
remember
run
his
was so
TNA
good.
run.
Oh, you don't? Oh man, we
No.
gotta get that Borash promo, the one with Borash and SoCal Val. We got to do that on here one day. He had a whole he had a whole storyline with Shark Boy. They were a tag team.
They used Hulk hands. They used the Hulk hands.
I've seen New Jack with the Hulk hands. Yes, I do have a vague memory of that.
He was having so much fun, man.
And the real ones, the hard ones.
Yes. What?
Yeah.
What? Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson at this point in their careers. Oh,
they were the
no.
champions, man.
Of course they were. Cornette was booking.
Right. I was just about to say this is where Cornette comes in.
The Rock and Roll Express goes from feuding with the Heavenly Bodies to feuding with the gangsters.
Oh, unbelievable.
And it worked.
All right. Yes, it did.
Can you imagine?
Go ahead, Kevin.
Listen to that pop.
But just imagine the conversation. New Jack's at 7-Eleven, getting a large Slurpee. Some kid walks up. You haven't beaten the Rock and Roll Express.
And then after he was done murdering that child, he then decided to go murder the Rock and Roll Express. So this is so captivating.
I know.
Like I almost don't want to keep stopping it, but like it's just captivating. What a gimmick this is.
It's
not a gimmick.
Well, I know.
Show up in town and get heat 101.
I mean, listen to the crowd. I mean, they want their heads.
How to start a riot.
None of y'all, the ones of you that don't smell like.
My goodness, I love this. Was a great idea to move from Dr. D to New Jack because my God, I never really understood the like the greatness of a New Jack promo until this.
Thematically, they're the same person. Honestly, Dr. D. Thematically.
I mean, I wouldn't tell Dr. D that, but
No.
Yeah, maybe.
I bet they get along fine. I bet they get along famously.
Did they ever do the gangsters against the Road Warriors?
Oh no.
No.
They were
they were too busy. They were locked up in WWF.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the only time Road Warriors were in ECW very briefly was probably around this time. So
Christopher Torres for $9.99. Terrifier 2 is a horror super slasher movie about a killer clown named Art who goes on the mother of all gory and murder violent sprees unlike anything you've ever seen. P.S. Chris Jericho makes a cameo. Well, if there's ever been a reason for me to not check this movie out, it's that Chris Jericho makes a cameo in it. So I appreciate that though, Chris. I'm going to take your word for it. All right, guys, man. That was a trip and a half. Anything else you guys got this week? Anything else we have to talk about? I mean, we didn't talk about the lawsuit.
Nah.
Which one?
Which one?
Yeah.
No, the lawsuit, the Kevin Kelly lawsuit.
Oh.
I had that set for today, but
that was always next week.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we still have technically 15 minutes, but yeah, we can end it up. I think that's probably a good idea. All right, guys. Hold on. Just what Jay Alexander says, Jericho is in the credits scene. You can literally watch the whole movie and not see Jericho.
Did you see Jericho? Didn't Jericho had a cameo in the last Jay and Silent Bob movie? Do you remember that one? Where he played himself, basically.
Yeah, he played a Klansman, didn't he?
He played himself, like I said.
Yeah. Yeah, he was he was a Klansman in Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Which he's on that Kevin Smith like Rolodex now, so he's going to be in everything Kevin Smith does from now on.
Yeah.
I don't think he popped up in Clerks 3, if I remember correctly. I've only seen Clerks 3 once because I was a blubbering, crying mess during Clerks 3 because it's the saddest movie that's ever been made. It's just a very sad movie. I did not understand why he went where he went with the ending of that movie.
Because
So-
well, we can talk about that sometime. Some
Yeah,
other
we'll
time.
talk about that in the
I
future.
I have lots of thoughts about Kevin Smith. Maybe we'll do a special thing for.
Yeah, we can do
Tooney
something
Town
for channel.
TV.
Maybe we'll do something for channel members on Tooney Town TV.
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to be doing an AEW Grand Slam watch along party live. Right. This. When is Grand Slam?
Next week.
Next week. Oh my goodness. What day of the week?
We can probably it probably works out well because we can do
That's
Jeopardy.
that's just a special episode of TV, right? That's not a pay-per-view.
It's but they're doing the Darby versus John.
I'm saying I don't have
Moxley.
to. I'm saying I don't have to pay.
Oh no,
for it.
you don't have to pay for it. Yes, you don't have to
Okay.
pay for it.
All right.
And
so,
it might work out well because we could probably save a lot of AEW news from the show to do then while not
Is that
much
a-
is going.
Is that a Dynamite?
It's a Dynamite, and people can watch it for free, so we don't have to call the matches and stuff like that.
All right. Yeah. So you guys will watch along with us. A big thank you, by the way, to our one and only producer, AEW Neckbeard, man in the chat. The heart and soul show, the wise man of this show, the guy who picks out all of our new Jack promos of the week. So thank you, AEW Neckbeard. You are a godsend to this show. By the way, I also wanted to thank John JID 999, also man in the chat for us as one of our mods out there. And he also moderates a Discord server. And he says, if you haven't, we have an awesome group of people there. So go ahead and join. By clicking on that link in the comments and check it out because we have a fun time over there. I haven't been in there as much lately because I've been so busy trying to get the headlines out. But I'm sure you guys don't mind because people seem to be enjoying this episode of the headlines. So I'm glad you guys are. Yes, as Erica says, all hail on Wise Man. Okay, so Lisa says the Discord is great. We just make fun of Dis all day. Are you just getting abused? You're just getting abused in the Discord?
I'll use this as my plug for Discord. Yeah, I do. It's fantastic. I love our Discord. It's actually where I'm kind of my home base now. I don't post on Twitter as much except for the chart and show plugs. But if you want to catch me, I actually registered a domain. So you don't have to be in the chat to find our Discord link or go find my Twitter. Just go to tooney.dis.lol and you will go to our This does not stand for me, it stands for Discord. tooney.dis.lol and that will take you to our Discord page. So
by the way, also wanted to thank John J. I wanted to thank John JID 999 because he said he was actually involved in our Patreon exclusive live stream the other day. He is an insider on Patreon, so insiders and FDMs actually get the ability to join the live stream as a member of the panel. So it was me and John talk about wrestling, and we were just bringing up everybody's chats at the same time. We're going to probably be doing those on Mondays during the day now. I think that's what's going to probably happen. So we also do member exclusive chats for Tooney Town TV on Fridays at 2 p.m. Kevin and I were in there last time, and we had Erica there, we had Lisa there, we had a whole bunch of you guys there, and we had a really great, fun little unplugged discussion. So lots and lots of perks. Head over to Patreon, guys. You get everything that I produce for Tooney Town Wrestling early over there, along with a lot of exclusive perks. Insiders and FDMs get exclusive videos, and that includes match watch-alongs. So I'll let you guys vote on it. And this week we're going to be doing Jerry Lawler versus Terry Funk in the empty arena match. So I'm going to probably record that tomorrow if any of you guys want to join me for that. Otherwise, it'll just be me alone. We did the war to settle the score last week, which is one of my favorite matches of all time. And when you watch it, you understand why. It's just pure adrenaline. And nobody ever talked about the war to settle the score. Because I think because of the finish, because there's no finish, but I mean, it sets up WrestleMania 1 so beautifully. And, but just the intensity in that match is absolutely incredible. And so I'm going to let the guys and girls over there, vote on the matches that we watch every single week. I also do Headlock Headlines director's commentaries. You can get a lot of behind the scenes stories as I watch an episode of the headlines and kind of give you just a, little background info on it as it goes along. And we're going to have a ton more going on over there at patreon.com/TooneyTown Wrestling. So, and FDMs and Insiders got the headlines 2 days early. Smart Marks got the headlines a day early. And most of our daily videos that we've been doing on the channel lately go up there at least a day early. So check it out, guys. Dis, what you got going on over there at Maxed Out Media?
Hey, I'm probably going to be doing some videos on my own over there soon. Max has other things going on, so I'm going to kind of pick up the pace over there. But I am doing a video with our good friend Nolan Thunder on his new channel. If you want, I'm sure we'll have more info about that coming next week. I'm not really sure. He hasn't started the channel yet. These are videos in planning for it. So, but I will be doing a video with him for that. That's going to be more focused on stuff like Tooney Town TV type stuff. Yeah, just the Discord. We're doing Raw and SmackDown every week, and we are growing, man. We got so many people in there for SmackDown and Raw this past week. So join us. We're having a ton of fun over there. A lot of people in the chat that you see here are there. So yeah, that's about all I got.
Dis, what you got going on over there on Twitter?
Well, my name is Dis, and you said me
awful.
Again.
What do you got going on over there? You guys look so much alike. It's just so hard.
Yeah, that's right. Indistinguishable.
I actually legitimately have no idea what this looks like in real life. So, but awful.
Just
what
like
you got
awful.
going over there on Twitter?
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, no, he's probably Mustafa while he's with New Jack right there. So.
Picking my nose and wiping it on.
Yeah. All right, awful. What you got going
on? You can find me on Twitter, AEWFUL Wrestling, and you can see me make my videos and tweet my tweets, and people get
your videos are amazing. We've been talking lately about taking your.
Man.
We've been talking lately about taking your Sopranos videos, which are my favorite things that you do.
Oh yeah,
and actually voicing them like after you release them for a while, like actually like doing like the Tony Soprano and Carmella voices and stuff like that. I think that would be amazing. We got.
Oh yeah, still scouring, of course, but yeah, we can definitely make it happen.
Kevin Apollo, we have got a show coming up Thursday night, don't we?
We do. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Oh, we have so much to talk about. And folks, that show is going to be called Tooney Talk TV. And it is our live stream pop culture podcast over on our sister channel, Tooney Town TV. And don't look at that because that's got the wrong date on it. It's Thursday nights. It's Thursday nights at 8 p.m. over there on Tooney Town TV. It's me, Apollo, our friend Trish, also Nolan Thunder, Lauren Connor, Spencer Bakuli, the editor-in-chief from Bounding Into Comics, Martin Stone, occasionally Lou Wasserman's Ghost pops in. We've even had Jonas J. Campbell, Culture Casino, and WW Pro all pop into the show here and there. So you never know who's going to show up Thursday nights at 8 p.m. over there on Tooney Town TV. We'd love to have you guys over there. And of course, Kevin Apollo, you got any wrestling shows coming up? Anything in the near future?
Yeah, November 2nd, we're in the Palisades Mall. Tommy Dreamer makes his ACW return. And then I'll have more stuff about that coming up soon. Working on a press release. We're going to do some fun stuff. Going to raise some money for charity. And then I'm going to try to sneak in a Halloween theme show before that. So I'll tell everybody the date sometime next week.
I love a good Halloween show. I love a good Halloween show. We're going to be doing all in October for the Patreon. We're going to be doing all Halloween Havoc matches. For the month of October for watch alongs. So that's going to be a lot of fun. All right. I'm trying to think of anything else I had to put over today. Brand new videos dropping every single morning over on Tooney Town TV, Tooney Town Wrestling. I'm trying to get videos out every day. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer because there are, original puppet sketches at the beginning and end of every video. So just, tune in and see what we got going on. Make sure you check out the Headlock Headlines. We're going to be sending you over there right when this ends. And yeah, check out also That Game Place, the That Park Place gaming channel, where I'm also a regular host. And go to thatparkplace.com if you were a theme park fan to read my coverage of the theme park news. I am the theme park reporter over there, so check it out. And thank you to everybody who was here in the chat today. Thank you to everyone who super chatted. Thank you to everybody who was just here. We love having you guys here. We love the community that we've established here. We have a lot of fun talking about our shared passion for the business and sport of professional wrestling. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. From all of us here at the Tooney Town channels, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!
Now, Perry the Platypus, feel the wrath of my thank you-inator!
Thank you, you piece of trash.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you!
Oh, I suppose you want me to say thank you. Well, you know what? Saying thank you is like jobbing.
Thank you!
I got a little message.
thank you. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, thank you! Oh, thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
Thanks. For what?
Hi-ho from all of us here at Tooney Town. Thank you.
And viewers like you. Thank you.